Yeah, see, and now all this, all that out the window.
Hold on. But ain't nobody told you when you got up that you needed to get up. You just got up when you got up. Everybody like to get up when they get up.
Heck no, I'm an insomniac.
That
So,
ain't her fault.
Boom, hold up. So I'm already gonna be up.
Yo, one more pass. I want you guys to see it the way we're seeing it. Crazy, real, unique, creative. Clicked Up the podcast is back. Yes, right. I want all the things to be in place. Your boy Job English is back. Oh my God. Thank you. Oh my God, thank you. Oh, thank you. It's always a pleasure. It's always a gift. You do so much to make so much happen. Oh, my man is looking crispy right now. I love it. Looking nice today. Your boy, yo, we're about to have some fun in here. Guess who's in the building? ICport Savannah's in the building. Your girl Kel Denise is in the building. We got some other people coming in, man. ICport is spreading their wings, man. It looks like it's going to be dope. We're going to have a good time. We've already been talking. There's already been a lot going on behind the scenes. We've already been talking the talk. We've already been doing the things. All right. Calm down. Goodness gracious. I appreciate the love, man. It can't never be enough. Can never be enough. But I'm your boy, Job English. It is our pleasure to be Clicked Up the podcast. You are in the Clicked Up podcast. Well, the Clicked Up studios. And if you want to come in here and have your dope show, because we have dope shows. ICport does their weekly review up in here.
You already know.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, bi-weekly, they do other stuff other places. It's all over the place. And we are all part of the Our Black Media family with Hot 2100 Savannah. Yeah, your boy is a radio personality these days, too, man. Give me my shit back, man. Give me my shit back.
You gonna be clapping for all this in a second.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all hands should be raw.
Y'all out here.
By the time I get done with this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your hands should be raw, messing with your boys and them. Everybody in here, radio personality. You know what I'm saying? We taking over.
Like Birdman.
It feel like it's the 99 and the 2000. We taking over.
It's mine.
I need my cash money though. You know what I'm saying? It's the only thing missing. Yeah. Yo, we have already been having a conversation. Talking about. Y'all call it narcissism. That's what everybody calls it these days. But I hit him with an old school term. You know what I'm saying? I get him with some old school technology. You know what I'm saying? Hit him with the 1900s. You know what I'm saying?
Juice.
You know what I'm saying? It's that vainglorious. You know what I'm saying? Vanity. You know what I'm saying? The cult of self. I be reading and stuff. I be reading.
Yeah.
I like to read.
You know what I'm saying?
I was in a celebrated reader.
Yeah, I be reading.
Literally.
Everybody there, you went to school in Georgia, celebrated reader program.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I stayed on the top 20 list.
Come on, bro. Big reader.
You know what I mean? They got records of that now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got a letter from the Secretary of State from the White House in the 4th grade that said, boy, you know how to read. My whole family was proud. They thought I was going to be a scientist. For real. Yeah, I think it's a game. Yeah, I was trying to read. But Vainglorious.
Vainglorious.
That was a new one. And then we started getting down and deep into it with the definition of it.
I love doing that.
Like, and you know, and especially reading the adjectives and, you know, the synonyms and the antonyms or whatever to them too. So
let me go ahead and read it to you. I want the audience to know what we know. I want y'all to hear what we hear.
I got it right here now. I got it right here.
Hold on. Let me see if you see what I'm seeing it.
Hey, I'm on Google.
You know what I'm saying? Vainglorious. I think you got it. Go ahead. Hit me with it.
All right. It says inordinate pride.
Inordinate.
That word is underlined.
Uh-huh.
Inordinate pride in oneself or one's achievements, excessive vanity. Sentence: his vainglory put the republic at risk.
Yeah, it's being overly self.
Here's more.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. Vainglory is possessed by people who are vain and like to glorify themselves. Mm-hmm. They're cocky and egotistical. Anyone who always tells you about how smart they are, attractive they are, or successful they are is displaying vainglory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See how fun it is when we use new words that aren't just floating in the zeitgeist. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta find out
Everybody calls zeitgeist. It's the spirit of the people at the time. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the lexicon. Well, it's not like the lexicon, but the lexicon is like the vocabulary that's like it's the whole thing. Anyway, what I'm saying is, I be reading this shit.
Educated brother.
Yeah.
So, it's called lonely.
Self-educated.
It's called lonely. Nah. But you be like when you have weird thoughts, they only belong to you. Like my thoughts belong to me, and I don't push them off on anybody until I come in here. But but I be in my mind, I be at work, and they be like, you don't even like to talk to us, because I'm just going over
constantly
weird ideas. Something will
right.
pop in my mind. I'm like,
I do that a lot.
now I want to know where that came. Sometimes words that I might have heard passively surface, and then I go, I heard that word somewhere. What does that even mean? And then they'll take it down a whole thing. But Vainglorious.
I've actually never heard that word.
Yeah, no. I heard it when I was a kid. There was actually a group called the X Clan. I don't know if you ever remember the X Clan. They used to say this at the end of the song. They'd be like, Vainglorious. This is represented by the red, the black, and the green. It was a whole thing. Yeah. Like, it's even at the end of one of Dave Chappelle's stand-ups. He did it. And if you had to know who the X Clan is to know why he did that.
Okay.
Grand Rebelizer, what time is it? It was a
it
was an ultra pro-black rap. I mean, ultra pro-black. Like, they was just saying, like, yo, they was like right next to Muslims. Like it was ultra pro-black. Like in the time where that you could do that, like they would never sell now because we were way too sold out for that.
Thanks.
And they were like a national act. It wasn't like, oh, just a couple people knew them. Like everybody had their tape. You knew who they were. You know what I mean? It was just, but they used to say Vainglorious, and I was like, I didn't even know what that meant. But the way he said it made you want to know. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh. So then it was just like, now you hear everybody use the word narcissism, and I think they really just mean vainglorious.
But,
no.
You know what I'm saying? Because narcissism, the way we understand it, is a medical term.
Yes.
Right? So when you start to try to diagnose your reality with medical terms, you're not actually experiencing your reality. You're trying to experience a remedy. But in the definition of vainglorious, as we read it, in comparison to how narcissism is being used, I don't see that. Because the way narcissism is being used is being broken down by different characteristics of narcissism, and people are identifying those different characteristics in people and labeling them narcissists before looking at the person and seeing if they just have narcissistic traits, because we're human, or if the person is actually a narcissist. Or could it be? Oh, what you got? You say something?
Well, narcissism and vainglorious and being a confident person is being over self-indulged in yourself. Basically is what it's saying. Like I think it's a very thin line between having confidence in yourself too. Because you can be trying to manifest into yourself of being something great. You ain't achieved nothing. I am. But you trying to actually be something, but people take this, he's a narcissist because you obsessed with making yourself that. Like, hey, I'm going to be the greatest radio personality there is.
And that's going to the point. They're not looking at it for what the different things actually mean.
Yeah.
And we need to go into them things, man. When people, because having the confidence that you're saying about yourself, if people understood the difference between having confidence and that thin line that make you a narcissist, the overexertion, the excessive, all of that is like the key to
but then
understanding the difference.
You use narcissism as a medical term. Like, they got medicine for that?
So check it out. I mean, there actually are diagnoses in psychotropic drugs.
I was just about to say psychological.
Because it's a at the end of the day, it's a not necessarily
to a degree.
There are chemical imbalances. There are some people who just have chemical imbalances, just like anything.
I always
there are some
thought
people
that.
who just create too much calories in the body. Like
but I always thought that
like thyroid.
I don't mean to come off sounding like I'm about to sound, but I got to say what I'm going to say. But I didn't think black people have chemical imbalances. I thought that, you know what I mean, other races are born with chemical imbalances. Like, it's just a lot of things that happen in the world if you go and look at, and you want to look up the genetic makeup of these people, and you know what I mean? I don't even want to call any names, but I'm just saying you have your Bundys and your Mansons of the world, and
but
you know what I mean?
We eat certain things and all that stuff. It helps.
It's a
chemical imbalance.
Yeah.
I mean,
when we not getting enough vitamin D, when we're not in the sun, when we're not eating enough greens, when we're not taking care of our body health and all of that stuff. Sometimes
you can have a perfect system. To your point, you can have a perfect system.
You can have a damn near perfect system,
and then feed it garbage.
Yes,
and then it's going to malfunction.
But you basically saying that I can have an attitude problem and they're gonna give me some medicine for it.
I mean,
we just say that you have an imbalance and you have an imbalance in cortisol or oxytocin or the things that your body make naturally. That helps your brain.
Really, I think your grandma should have put the belt to the ass. Like, that's really what I think. Like, because it's talking about chemical imbalances.
You know what?
But that's what causes it.
Because
you know what? That's funny. Because Sinbad said that. Sinbad was like, "Oh,
what?
It's a practice in.
Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
It's a practice in training your chemical output. So if you get frightened, then I want to say I think it's cortisol. One of the chemicals is released. Now, if you get frightened repetitively, then your body gets used to receiving that chemical, and you will create circumstances, scenarios. You will respond to people with that emotion in order for your body to get it and not even realize that's what's going on. So when you get mad or angry, if you
pause out for a second.
Hello.
No, I'm not hearing that.
No, nobody say anything. Stop doing what you're doing.
There you go right there. It's gone.
No, say it.
Hello.
One more time.
Hello.
Hey, y'all go ahead.
So like chemically, your body as a child can be chemically trained to release certain different chemicals based off upon how you responded to the person raising you or whatever the situation is, and you can develop not addictive, but you can develop a consistent output of certain chemicals in a certain situation or consistency of a situation, and end up training your body to respond that way and having the chemical imbalance. You can also eat messed up or genetically have chemical imbalances based off, family, your genes or whatever the case may be, like high blood pressure and stuff like that. Those are chemical imbalances too, because that means that your body not having this or producing certain chemicals.
Well, now I think from back in the day, what you're saying about the food and stuff, I think that could have happened because we wasn't taught better. But nowadays that the information is out there, I don't think that. If you want it, you can receive that type of information to have. You can stop that type of imbalances nowadays before it happened.
Oh
my God.
Everything went out.
Oh my gosh. How did it turn off by itself? Alright, pause out. Give me a second. That was fantastic.
We will be back after these messages.
That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Good job.
Fantastic.
So we're not live.
We not
sure.
I mean, that thing's still recording.
It says we're still live, but I'm not quite sure.
Perfectly balanced as it is. It's a certain like if we go to genes with it, it's a certain reason that the bloodlines have survived, that an imbalance been surviving. You feel me? When it comes from even they get a genealogy in the Bible and whatnot. You feel me? Or they get the whole genealogy. Like these people, there's a certain type of person. It's a certain type of person.
Yeah, but when you go there, that takes me to somewhere else with the way the world works right now. That takes me somewhere else because the only people who lineage matters to is Jewish.
That's only what matters.
Like basically, whatever the world really dictates, like if your father is Jewish, you ain't Jewish.
Well,
Like they're the only bloodline that's out here dictating and going defined like that. Black people like we don't know our lineage.
Regardless, the mental, the dad knowing your daddy, knowing you ain't going that far. I don't want to take it that far.
Yeah, but when it goes like that, I'm just saying with us as a people, we don't put a lot of effort into that.
You know your family?
Yeah. Not with like tracing the roots. We can live, and knowing the family. We live in the same city.
Each other.
We live in the same city, and it's hard to put together a family reunion. Family reunions are now created by what we call a funeral. Those are the new family reunions.
I'm blessed. Like, nah, we got my family. I got a family. You feel me? I know, like we can tell who. You can tell, like, we know where the grandma came, where Mama J came from, and Mama J, her brothers where they came from, this part of Georgia. You feel me?
We definitely
like all that. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? We can recognize who's the tribe. You know what I'm saying? Knowing our tribe, knowing the lineage. You know, knowing like them.
I mean, it's ways now that's open for people to do that.
I don't believe in all that though.
So you think that it's still gonna mess with the genealogy?
Yes, man.
Like the government.
Shadera in the comments, real deep.
Yeah.
What's she saying?
But she was fun. People can have the traits without fully being within it. It's different when you're working towards it versus just speaking as it without the actual work behind it. They have therapy treatments and certain medications used to counterbalance the cause of those behaviors. Our DNA normally is good, but if you're not maintaining it well, then it'll be messing up in its function.
So peep game, right? So all right, let's look at diagnosis, right? And we're gonna back up off of it for a second. If you look at what a flu is, the flu has about 90% of all of the same symptoms as HIV. Right? I mean, just look it up. Go ahead and look it up.
Yeah, look at chickenpox. It's damn near the same thing as HIV.
Right, wait, pause out. So the symptoms, I'm not talking about the disease and its RNA and DNA and what it does. That's a whole other conversation.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, it's not. It's actually the problem. Because you think you can recognize a symptom, you can recognize a disease. And that's not true.
And that's like
Because you can sit there and you can see something that looks, it has all the traits of narcissism. But it's actually not that. You could, man, he just has the flu. No. You could treat him for the flu, give him everything that you would give him for a flu, and then all of a sudden, he's not responding to the treatment, to the therapy, because everybody's talking about therapy. They're not responding to the therapy because that's not what they have.
Right.
So you're so confident because this word has given us so much power.
Exactly.
You're so confident that you would even, I'd rather break down what the term means before I learn something else.
Right.
I don't know what, you know what I'm saying, pneumonia is.
Right.
But I do know what the flu is. I don't know, like there are people who have been diagnosed with HIV who had lupus, which is another disease, that is an autoimmune disease that has a lot of the same things. So you're sitting over here with one diagnosis and giving everything under the sun that looks to this. Oh, it has to be that. We did that with COVID. Everything was COVID. Nigga, the flu still exists.
Right.
A regular cold is a regular cold. But every time a nigga sneezed, COVID.
Right.
So every time a motherfucker said "fuck you,"
we can't even have an allergy.
Everybody, like
right. I can't even accidentally went into a dust bomb and sneezed without saying COVID.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You can't eat something hot, your nose get to running.
Right.
Nah, nigga, that's COVID.
So I can't have a messed up day to day and be crying about me. Without being a narcissist.
You were having narcissism. It's like, nah, man, it's
in my feelings.
day.
Like, right.
Which is another thing that we do as a people is we trick people off their square by telling them get out your feelings. No, these are my feelings. Evolution gave these to me. If it wasn't useful, I wouldn't have them.
Right. Well, sometimes now that we know that humans are flawed to whatever degree, chemically imbalanced and all that stuff. When you go talking to that, now we got to check what the feeling we got and if it's valid for real.
Right.
Because I've had emotions that were not valid. And once you let me know I'm seeing this, I'm perceiving something wrong, and like this is the perception, and I'm like, oh, okay, I see it that way, and the feeling immediately go away naturally because my understanding is different. Because my feeling wasn't valid.
Still valid.
Why let me be in? I do that with my moms. Why would I allow you to be in this sorrowful feeling if I care about how you feel?
No, I understand the process.
Why would I let you be in that feeling if I know that your perspective is it? That all that has to change, and I have the perspective.
Because
how is that valid?
Because what we confuse is we think synonyms mean
Check
sameness.
me, please.
We think synonyms mean sameness, and they don't. So it's similar, but there's some difference. In the Venn diagram, there's some shit over here that matches with some shit over here, but there's some shit in here that don't have anything to do with anything over there.
Okay.
Your feelings are valid because they're honest. But honest does not mean accurate.
Right. So
I had an honest take based on what I perceived. So that's valid. That's how I felt given what I thought.
Right.
But that didn't make my feelings accurate. And there's a lot of people who think because my feelings are honest, they have to be accurate.
And that's my point. So why let somebody delve into that emotion? So that's why if somebody say check your feelings or you know what I'm saying, they probably have already evaluated the fact that they don't have to feel that way. It's like you don't have to feel that way. So now it's like maybe I need to step back and check my feelings. Like, am I tripping? Am I over emotional? Do I need to evaluate why I'm feeling this angry or sad?
All right, so I'm gonna do something personal. Dealing with Kel.
Wow. Okay.
I've learned something, and I'm an older guy. I'm still learning. You know what the worst thing to do to tell somebody who's overreacting to stop doing?
Overreacting. Yeah.
You ever tell somebody who's overreacting? You ever tell somebody who's not? You ever tell somebody who's not calm down?
Don't ever do that.
How often did that actually make them calm down?
I know.
So when you're telling somebody who is clearly in their feelings
People be aware of
to
them
get
being
out of their feelings,
Boy.
how often do you think they're gonna get out them feelings because you just said so? Get out your feelings. Oh, I'm sorry, and then they're just gonna get out.
And then they ain't gonna get out of it instantly, but they need to like stop bothering me. Stop bothering me with it. Like, go take some time, feel how you want to feel. This is valid, but check it, evaluate, and make sure that it's valid before treating me with it. You get what I'm saying? Like, have your valid emotion, but make sure the perspective is correct. Or come to me, ask me what the perspective is, so I can give you perspective. And then, if that's what it is, that's what it is.
Olivia,
Take it for what it is.
what might you perceive in this conversation?
Come on, talk to me.
Oh, Lord, why y'all calling me out?
Yeah, we gonna go ahead. It's a nice light dark balance in here. I think we got a good balance in here. It's a nice. Everybody throw it out too. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Everybody in the same category.
Okay.
Light, skip.
I'm definitely sitting here catching up for sure.
Girl.
But if I'm right on the floor of the conversation, I kind of agree with what Empress was saying, but then everybody didn't agree with her, and then I was like,
Let's talk.
when you were saying about your feelings not being valid, and then she was like, you know, your feelings are valid, and I was thinking to myself, like, you know, because sometimes I be tripping, sometimes my feelings aren't valid.
Right.
Like, even I feel that way, and I might think I have a reason for feeling that way, but
If you don't have any direct evidence towards why it is that you're feeling the way that you're feeling, then all right, yeah, you may be tripping. You know what I'm saying? But if it's a situation that you both experienced and the way that you perceived it put you in a specific way or whatever, until you have that conversation or the clarity is given, your feelings in that moment is valid because of how you were able to digest and perceive that moment. But given the clarity and understanding later, however you address it then is where the maturity then lies on how you move forward. Right. Are you still going to be, well, it's the quote unquote the principle? Or are you going to say, okay, well, I understand what you're saying now, or are you still going to harp on the shit that you was
when you was at your so-called valid emotion? Because
that's taking accountability.
Because if me and you would exactly. That's so if I say something to you right now and I mean well. I say something to you right now and I mean well, but it can be interpreted wrong. If I be like, girl, let's say stank was a good word that we was using now. It's a trend or whatever. And I go, girl, you stink, bitch. Mm-hmm. And you didn't know it was something me and her say all the time. Mm-hmm. And you got upset. And it's valid that you mad from the perspective that you took it from. But I only gave you me. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't understand what me was, then you get mad at me for speaking on it, holding it against me, and ooh after, and I ain't even got a chance, so you ain't even came to me and been like, what you meant? I see you over there like, oh, no. So, tell me what you meant. And I mean, girl, you stink like, you goofy. Like, that was funny as hell. And you like, oh, okay. And then you look back like, damn, I just spazzed out or tripped out or thought some kind of way about this girl. And she wasn't even coming at me like that. People do that all the time, and because of how they set in what they grab from what they think of somebody like a liar or a stealer or something. If somebody steal from, let's say somebody steal from Walmart, and you see this person stealing from Walmart all the time, every time you go in, they good at stealing. So now you don't trust this person in your house. But after you talk to that person, they like, on principle, and they give you this whole scenario where they stole out their mama purse or something like that, and they hurt them to their heart, and they'll never steal out nobody personal stuff again. Mm. You done judge this person because you seen them in Walmart. Now you paranoid every time. Oh, you're not allowed to play with this girl. Or, I don't want you around her or whatever, because you seen a perspective in Walmart. But you don't know that person would never steal from a human being. You know what I'm saying? They got a whole outlook on that. Like, that's what be getting me.
I think that's where the uniqueness of...
Steal from a bell?
Oh. That's steal from a baker.
I feel like that's where the uniqueness of, like, the human experience come in at. For sure. Because everything that we do, no matter what our truth is, somebody else is going to perceive it differently. Right. And going about that is what is the stark difference between everyone. So when you get to the Bundys, maybe he doesn't have that strategy when it comes down to whatever principle or value. Mm. I want this specific little boy, and that's what I'm going for because this makes sense in my mind. To him, it made logical sense, but to us, because we see it a certain way as wrong, you know what I'm saying? It's no justification for that. But
and even though I want to say, even though you have understanding of something doesn't mean that it's justifiable.
Exactly.
But continue.
Exactly. So you can empathize, you can understand, you can sympathize with something, but that does not justify the action. Right. While also at the same time, someone can identify, they can believe in or process something, and that doesn't mean that that was the reality of what it is. Everybody's perception is different. And how you navigate through that is... kind of just catered to who you are, the society you grew up in. That is when
you have
your culture,
emotional intelligence, and effective communication.
Yes,
that is what creates that. Mm-hmm. Being able to acknowledge that.
Because the situation you gave with the girl you stink or whatever, realistically, if you got a question about what they saying up front, you should just be like, what you mean by that?
What you mean by that? Right.
And then let them explain.
Some people would just perceive a situation like
they can't effectively communicate. It's just simply they can't effectively communicate the fact that made them uncomfortable in that moment, and they had something to say about it.
I want to say something. Shadira Fowler, to the point that you just made, said something fantastic.
What'd she say?
And I think this is a quotable.
Uh-oh.
And I think Shadira needs to start coming to the podcast.
Yeah, she be on that road.
Meanwhile, she already be on the damn.
But check it out what she said. And I think this phrase needs to be understood, especially in these days, these times. This is dope to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm overselling.
I love it.
But she said, you gotta have common ground before you can say it's common sense.
Ooh,
that's tough, boy. Let me give her some of that. Action.
Yeah, she got that.
Let me give her some of that action.
She can be defined differently than someone else's. And that's what I be telling people. Like, you can't hold somebody to a certain ideology or aspect of some situation without understanding what that means to them. Like, blue for me could be something different for you. Like, if we don't, we have to have the understanding.
And then also, she says that's not for everyone though. Wait. Yeah, that's not for everyone. Not everyone wants to elaborate on feelings because they weren't taught it, and that goes into this idea of emotional intelligence.
Yes.
You cannot talk about emotional intelligence unless you're willing to have a conversation about emotional education.
Mm-hmm.
If you are not educated,
that's what I'm aiming for.
If you are not willing to go through the education,
right?
And education is a form of discipline, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Just like every form of martial arts, you are educated in its discipline.
Right.
Right? If you're just running around saying whatever you feel is valid.
I know whoop your ass.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't know which
when people
race
say
you're being
feelings
racist
valid,
towards,
like, I don't
but
I am quoting Medea.
Oh, Medea? Oh, I ain't seen.
I know whoop your ass.
Because I did not go to Medea when I saw that. I saw Jackie Chan.
That's what I was like,
and now all I see is Medea. I remember it.
Yes. Oh,
See, perception. See?
Y'all thought I was being racist. I was actually quoting a black person being racist.
Wow. Secondhand. Guess what? And you did it again because I had another epiphany after another about the same damn thing. That's crazy. Anywho.
So there's all these catchphrases out there, and there's all these terminologies that we use with all this confidence. And then if you just do like a little bit of digging, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody has anxiety now. I have, but nobody. I've never seen a nervous motherfucker in 10 years.
Come on, man.
Nobody. I was nervous. My anxiety was flaring up.
Whoa,
bro,
hold on.
Right.
Hold on. Anxiety is real.
It is.
Yeah, it is real, but people do the same thing with that word as they do with narcissism.
Yeah,
you could have just had
so much of that with everything.
You had to do public speaking.
Panel.
You had.
There's so much of that.
You had to
everything.
speak in front of the class,
and that's why I say linguistics and communication is two different things. We have to understand communication. First of all, if we're gonna use linguistics to the degree like vernacular and all that, then we need to understand that. because I can't stand people that's so specific on that to a degree that we can't get done with the conversation because you stopping me about a wrong word or something like that. I can't get over it because communication is the essence of why we even use linguistics. You get me? So communication, what I'm trying to communicate with you is more important than the words I'm using if you understand that we're in a moment of communication.
But so
like, what the fuck are we doing?
What you could be communicating, like, and this is something that I've learned. People oversell in order to sort of try to create a state of emergency in you.
But my thing is, if somebody is coming to you to rant or vent,
everybody's life is their life.
Right, but I mean, which is facts. But if somebody is coming to you to rant or vent or express themselves in that moment, nobody is sitting here trying to take inventory on the fucking words I'm trying to use.
Right.
All I'm trying to do is express myself in this moment, and I'm hoping that you can have enough space for me in this moment to realize I am human, understand what I'm saying, and not take it to a point of where it's about you. Because when you're questioning what I'm saying, it's because 9 times out of 10 you
feel hit by a word. You've attached a grammatical word to something that you are familiar with, and you're missing my point.
Because if you know me and the person that I am, thank you. If you know me and the person that I am, sometimes the way that I may use a word may not be attached to the direct definition, but the expression that the word can bring, if that makes sense.
Right.
Well, you wanted to say something like that?
Just from the man's perspective, what she say?
Wait, stop.
Why did he have to decide?
Wait, no. Why didn't he get ill?
Because he said man's perspective.
She knows what I mean.
Okay.
Man's perspective.
I feel some kind of way that he think that it's
Pause.
This from a mall's perspective.
Yeah, this.
Why? Ask the question.
You get me?
Because he's not my man, and I don't know him.
We human.
Shit.
We
human.
I don't know this man enough.
One of my things I like to say is common sense ain't common.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot.
No,
see, we all women.
these situations happen
this is what I want to
consistently when
say.
you dealing with
I'm
people
just saying, common sense ain't common.
Consistent
Y'all feel
way.
entitled to space.
If I'm asking
In
you
a
to listen to me to
situation,
rant, nigga, I'm
that's a
asking for
situation
that
that you created.
No,
A lot of the situations be situations y'all create in y'all
But it ain't got
head.
nothing to do
And
with
then
the
you say,
situation,
give me
though.
the space
Mom.
to
Say
rant
it.
Mom.
and tell you
Oh,
about
Mom.
this girl at my job.
So
Mom.
if you don't,
Give me the space
hold
to
on.
vent to you
on.
about things I don't
communication.
like
Hold on,
in
let
the
him talk.
world.
Let him talk. You talk.
Give me space to vent about things I don't like in the world. Give me space to tell you about every dislike I have. Give me space. That's what you are asking for. And then we have to take into account and be like, I really don't want to hear this. But out of respect for your woman.
and that's what's
or
already
your
driving
lady,
the situation.
Hold on. Because we not trying to be biased. But you complain about everything that you're going to talk about anyway. You're going to always be in the right. And I'm going to have to be in agreement with you.
No.
And if I do offer advice, you gonna hit them with, I don't even know why I asked you that.
Women are not usually Mom. Women with their sense are not actually looking for agreement.
Answer.
They're not looking for agreement.
anything
They
from
looking
y'all.
for
part again. Say it
women
again.
with sense.
There you
Shit.
Oh, if we try to
Women,
do
listen,
that,
Mom. No,
we
hold up,
sassy.
real quick. Women with sense are not looking for agreement.
No.
They looking for understanding. They looking to be felt and
Nobody's
understood.
asking for
You don't
a
have to
solution.
agree with me on my. You don't
We're
have
not
to agree
asking
with
for
me
a
on my
solution.
point
Yes.
if you understand
They
me.
call those
now
dudes
you know how to.
sassy now.
Check it out.
They
Man,
call
that's not what's
those
going
guys
on.
sassy.
Check
Who?
it out.
That's not what's going
Which
on.
side?
Check it out.
The
Check it out.
guys that try to, what you saying, like me trying to get back with you and for us to have an understanding. It takes a real woman to sit down and listen. But most women, oh, you sassy, you trying to argue back with a woman. You everything I say, you
But
want
that's
to be
not a
tit
real
for tat.
woman, though. You
Then
a
you're
little
not talking to a
ass
woman
girl
with
that
some-
don't know how to have a
then you're not
conversation.
talking
So
about-
you
then
need
you're
to
not
move
talking
on
about
to the
a-
next bitch.
But
Simple.
you also got to take into account the part you play in. Okay, no, see, stop. We got to stop running away from shit. Real shit is, if you got a woman like that, you love her or whatever, and she trip
And
like
she
that
trip
or
out,
whatever like that.
then
Now
why the
we
fuck
gotta
is
get
you-
to the we about to get to the cake.
Come
we
on.
about to understand.
Let's have this
Babe,
conversation.
what's going on with you,
Thank
man?
you.
What you
'Cause
went
if you
through?
know your
Let's
bitch is a
talk to you.
gossiper, why are
If
you
you
with
know-
her if you don't want to hear what she has
If
to say?
you know
If that's a
if
characteristic.
you know she trip out and you care about her, now you interested in why she trip out. Let's get to the bottom of it. I'm gonna let you know you might trip out. It might be part of your personality, but you ain't gonna never have to trip out with me. I'm about to get an understanding of why you trip. So now when we chop it, you're not gonna trip.
It
And
don't
when you
even
do
have to be
trip,
that cookie cutter. It could just simply
How
be
does
the
that
fact that
work?
what
it
do
could
you
just
mean?
be-
How does that
A
work?
woman wake up.
So wait, before you do it. So here's
You gotta
the
pay
thing.
attention.
Here's the thing.
Same way you gonna do it.
You're offering this idea of like this. That's what's the word you want to use? That sounds great.
Yes.
Oh my god! If you can
Yes.
just listen and I can, because understand doesn't mean agree. Again,
Right.
synonyms.
which is fine.
Right, so I could listen, completely comprehend everything you just said, and vehemently disagree with everything that walked out
And
of
that's
your mouth.
fine.
It's not.
Now it's your
wait,
turn.
Wait, pause. Because in real time, that's not what happens. So when you're talking to somebody because what he's displaying to you is his experiential understanding of what happens in real time. What we're
And
saying,
his experiential understanding is the only one out there.
no,
No,
we're not.
no,
but,
no,
but,
no.
I know.
But so what you're saying is, in the
Playing
theory of
devil's
it all,
advocate, give me a
with
second.
all of the things that you said, she has to be a woman of this, she has to have all of these qualities, right? And
Okay.
before you even get to the table of where the rant is, so we automatically have to assume her greatness, goodness, aptness.
Nobody
whatever.
is.
I
But
said-
you don't
I said
have
one
to. But at
thing.
the same
I
time,
said
you don't
she just
have
need to have some sense.
Fuck all that. You don't even have. But at the same time, just as well as you don't have to assume her greatness, you don't have to assume that she's some ratchet ass bitch that you can't talk to.
Oh no, because
No, but also you don't have to-
No, it's not because
No,
it's not because at the end of the day, first and foremost, a lot of the times what we was trying to say earlier is 9 times out of 10, because what it sound like is you just saying when your girl is coming to you to rant or bitch about some shit that she dealing with her homegirls. Pretty much, right?
Yeah, let's just say her co-workers, whatever
She did
the
Like
case
some
may be.
mundane bullshit that she's dealing with throughout the day that possibly have pissed her off.
Yes.
That's what you're talking about,
Yes.
right? Cool. So if you dealing with a shorty,
And she dumps this on you daily.
Yo, Shadira just said in the chat that it don't be fine with most women.
No, which is fine. That's cool. But no, what I'm saying is in this situation, if that's the habit that she has, she's coming to you to be able to express her day, to kind of let off that load. If you do not have the capacity to take in that, at that point, that is on you to discuss first and foremost. Yeah. However,
that's fair. Understand that women feel like they man is their best friend.
Thank you. So when I'm telling you this, I'm talking to you the same way I would talk to one of my homegirls right now. Right. So I'm not asking you to find a solution. I'm not asking you to solve a problem. All I'm asking you to do is to be like, oh damn, for real? Oh, that bitch trifling. That's what happened. That's crazy. And you was just like, just play into it real quick so I can get this off of my chest. Nobody's asking you for shit.
Be wise about your response. So whatever your response is.
But you literally just said you're asking for your girlfriend out of your man.
If you no, it's not. I'm asking for. But my thing, time out, pause. Because my thing at the end of the day, when it comes down to a relationship period, you should be able to be a homie. Yes. You should be able to be a homie. Your niggas, your spouse, you should be able to be a friend. And
wait.
What?
Because if we're gonna be honest, men gossip more than women.
Thank you.
Come
on now. Come on now.
We segue.
Because if you want to point out.
That's a separate argument, right? So
no, it's
that's called that's a straw man. We're not.
That's called what?
A straw man. You're creating a different argument, and we're not arguing that point.
Yes.
So,
but that was the part of the conversation you found on.
No, the part he was talking about, what he was talking about, was the idea that you feel like you have a space to emotionally dump on him, and then he has no place but to agree and sentimentalize your perspective.
And
how is
what we saying is that that's not what's being asked for.
Like, if we're not here to help each other or to co-regulate or to exist in this space or express ourselves to each other, what the fuck are you here for?
That's what I'm saying.
Good making money, and that's if you got that.
My any person.
Like,
you if you're my person, you're my person. You the person I'm supposed to be
talking to, expressing to.
But fuck my girls, I might not even have no girls.
Thank you. Or I can't get to them.
Exactly, right? But they be situations that you created.
I get it. How? Like oh my God. How is it a situation that she created?
Once you brought it out, you the one who's bringing it out there. You the one who's putting it out there. This is what you have to tell. Like, this is what you are telling me. I'm not telling you this. This is what you went through. So now you're telling me your experience that you went through.
Right. What's wrong with that?
But how is that?
You saying this is something that you created. It bothered you enough to now say, hey, I have to tell you. It's bothering you so much psychologically and emotionally that now you got to tell me. Oh, Miss Karen at work, she drunk the last water in the refrigerator. She don't never drink no water. Oh, yeah. Like, now it's on you. It bothered you. It triggered you. Now that it triggered you, instead of you saying something, Miss Karen, now you gonna emotionally dump this on me now.
I mean, because maybe
that's gonna go back to what you were saying, how you were saying that's not part of the conversation. But if your homeboy, and I've witnessed it, if your homeboy called you, yo man, let me tell you what this bitch did today.
This nigga laying on the bed with his feet kicked up, eating popcorn and everything. Fuck is you talking about?
Sit on that phone,
you about to walk around?
Y'all niggas finna be vacuuming the goddamn wall on the phone.
Did your homie just emotionally dump on you too?
Wait.
So you label it guy talk, but when your girl comes,
check the fuck
you label it guy talk on the women. You label it guy talk, but when your girl comes holler at you, listen, hold on, you label it guy talk.
There's way too much yelling, and there's way too much talking over each other, like way too much. And we're all muted, so nobody else is hearing this. Y'all have to let people talk. Like, I don't care what they're saying. I don't care what you disagree with. When she's talking, she gets to complete a sentence. When she's talking, she gets to complete a sentence. When you're talking, you get to complete a sentence. When he's talking, he gets to complete a sentence. When I'm talking, when he's talking, right? It can't be I'm listening to the point where I feel like I can't take it no more, and then I gotta just jump on, right? Because one, it's disrespectful. two, nobody's gonna be able to listen to that. How am I gonna clip that up? It sound like you at the jungle gym outside in 3rd grade, just a whole bunch of noise. Let people finish their thoughts. If whatever you think, just like we were talking, like whatever it is you think, you might get to the end of what he's saying and realize, oh, I get what you're saying. But if you're listening to the point where this is where my disagreement gets to butt in, then you're not being fair to his argument. He's not being fair to your argument. And you're not even hearing anybody. We just had this conversation at the beginning, and we're automatically not even doing it. We just said, putting things in perspective, you might not understand his perspective. Let that person talk through it, and then you might get what they're talking about, because I didn't know what stank means. And then here we are in the actual act of not doing exactly what you just said. Now again, nobody's heard this.
Well, no, adult conversation understands what is being said and applies.
So we're gonna continue. Everybody,
it might happen
because I was trying to get her in.
Yes.
I'm like, yo, let her. And the minute she says something, boom, he's jumping up.
Yeah.
The minute he says something, boom, it's like, yo, wait. Let them say something, because there might be gems and jewels in there that somebody else needs to hear. Right. They never got to hear her because he couldn't take. The minute she said girl talk, next thing you know, he jumping down her throat. Come on, you can't be like that.
I gotta respond to that.
Girl
because that sounds like something you actually going through. So
I mean, some of it's fine and some of it's cute, but it was getting heavy-handed.
It was.
All right, we cool?
Okay, so my point to you is, you say guy talk. Your homeboy call you. In her example, she said, your homeboy call you and does the exact same thing that you're talking about your girl doing. She talking about the girl at work, the guy at work. That's what he talking about. You listening?
Yeah.
When your girl come home and she do it, it's a different situation. That's guy talk when you doing it with a guy, but it's not homie talk when your girl come do it to you.
At the, all right, bro, see you later. The girl talk may go all the way up until the bedroom.
If you not,
this may have really triggered her.
If you not looking at it from the perspective of guy talk as well, then you gonna treat it different. And what I mean by that is, when your guy call you, and he talking whatever you get into advisor, guy, homeboy, whatever mode you is with your homeboy. Hold tight real quick. But when your girl come do it, you don't want to hit, right? But you may need to get into advisor mode as well. She might talk about the girl that you might need to check her in a polite way. You might need to say, well, baby, you don't think when you went to old girl and said this, that, and the third that you provoked her to ... Like, talk to her. Because she might start evaluating herself on a day-to-day and not come home with nothing to say to you because she corrected her actions at work based off of something you said.
She gonna come home with nothing to say, right? Because she know that you always correcting her. She's not, because she's gonna be feeling challenged.
You don't have to always correct her. She's not always
because that's
wrong.
not what she's looking for. If she's looking, because when your homie coming in to talk to you, you're not going in and telling him, "Oh, nah, homie, nah, you shouldn't have done that." Y'all ain't telling him that.
They do say that.
Sometimes there's a select few homeboys that actually got common sense. But usually when a man is calling, or you calling your homegirls, you're calling them because 9 times out of 10 they gonna fool up with your bullshit until you tired of doing what you doing. Let's be for real.
YN stuff right there.
Okay, but if we're talking about the type of chicks that he's talking about, that's what they're doing.
So here I want to just allow me to interject.
Yeah.
I think people do a lot of assuming of what happens in
I mean, that's what we're doing in all of this right now. We're assuming everything.
I'm not doing that.
Because I think most men, when we get on the, and maybe it's me. Most men that I've spoken with, and most times I've even had conversations.
It's because of the type of man that you are.
Wait. Because I've been, I've been in the army. I've been, kind of all over the world, and you get privy to a lot of different, I guess, archetypes of what men are, and you get to hear different rationales. And I don't hear. I mean, and there's definitely a lot of foolery. You know what I mean? But largely, when men are talking to men are talking to men for the problem-solving element. I'm talking to another man because I'm conferring with him. I'm not just
Okay.
dumping.
Let me say.
Wait. Let me get, and then I'm gonna get.
I mean, because you're doing this based off of my point, and it's misconstruing my point. So what I'm saying this is, it's not that they're not looking for a solution. Typically, the people they're going to a solution for, the solution is still common ground with their own mentality. It's not typically someone that's up and above that's going to give an advisor move of advice. Because if we're still dealing with, because I've personally have spoken to an ex who would go back to his friends for advice and solutions and information, and the exact information they gave them was based off of the experience in the life that they are currently living. Right. Okay? And so if we're dealing with females that he's talking about that don't want to hear anything, don't have any accountability or whatever, and then we're going to put in that category of what we're talking about, this is the type of people that we're talking about. So their friends that they're talking to, although they're looking for a solution, that solution is not of accountability, of actual solace, or anything. It's something to make their ego feel good in that moment. Because when he would go and talk to that's what I'm saying. So when he would go and talk to his homeboys, he would be looking for a solution, but because they were in a culture of cheating, clubbing, girls being hoes and thoughts or whatever the case may be, those are the exact same answers and advice and information they would get.
So he could be looking for
information, but because of the type of people that they exactly. Right. And that is why I said when you started talking, it's the type of man that you are. First and foremost, you have a whole fucking podcast that talk about relationships. No man that's going to come talk to you is going to come talk to you with bullshit because they know that you're not going to entertain it. Right. You're going to give them information that's going to force them to question themselves.
Like a cheater talking to another cheater. Like a husband getting advice from a single man.
Thank you.
Or something like that.
Exactly.
It
doesn't... if you're not going...
a married woman giving advice to a married woman.
Come on.
Or a woman that never been married giving advice to a
someone that's
about
to get ready.
Or something like that.
Something of that
had a baby.
Giving advice
to a mother.
Right,
exactly.
To a mother.
So my thing is...
You know he hit.
Yeah, I know he did.
But one thing I did want to go into before I give up the mic.
Yeah, that's still valid.
Hold on, real quick. I'm sorry. One thing I did want to get into before I got into the mic, because this happened between us at one point. I feel like the way that us as women start off conversations are almost trigger words for niggas. And that's why they don't know how to properly translate what we're saying.
Because they feel like baby, we need to talk. Baby, we need to talk. That's an immediate, oh my God.
Right, but meanwhile, when we go to our homegirls, it's like, bitch, we need to talk. Like, when we're texting them, that's how, that's cool, it may not be you, but I'm speaking in general. Because it was a moment.
She's talking about niggas.
Oh, niggas.
And you know,
it was a moment specifically. I came to the bathroom, and I was like, so tell me why. He thought I was starting some bullshit.
Right.
And
I can
was
see
not
why,
what I was doing,
you can see, though.
You know what I'm saying?
But I can see why not,
talking to a homegirl, she will understand, like, yes, in this moment, I am pissed off, but it's more of a, like a,
not
let's
at
have
you,
a,
at the
thank
situation.
You, thank you.
Right.
But they don't understand
so
that.
They instantly feel attacked, and they get up in defense. They're not trying to hear what you're saying.
And then they don't it's already just nagging.
Not every word that they hear is confirmation bias to their point.
So now, to her point, and I agree with her 100%, because I was there and I did it.
Accountability. We love that, sir. We love that.
Then that has to do with two modes of ineffective communication. She didn't know how to communicate verbally, and I didn't know how to hear her.
Right.
So
there
has to be a middle ground where maybe I need to learn a little bit more girl code.
Thank you. I feel like there's a catering that has to happen on each side. It has to be an element where you learn your partner and you learn, and that partner understands, and vice versa. Because if you don't understand what my talking cues are, then you're not going to translate my information correctly.
Now, here's another thing that you said before in the conversation, and then I want to add this to the conversation. I want to give it back to you guys. Right. And it's fair. Part of it is fair. And that is, we listen with the ears from our last relationships.
Yeah.
We're listening. We're interpreting the cues from our last relationship. When she said this to me, it meant that. But it's fair because as creatures, the only information you have is the information you come in with.
Right.
I don't know. It
is fair, but it's not fair. It's only fair to the person that is defending.
That's why
because
that's why you get to know your person.
That's the difference between honest and accurate. I had an honest response to the way you came to me, but it wasn't accurate. And that's fair. To go, look, I get how you got there, but that's not what this is.
Right.
Right? And then, like you were saying earlier, listen, like, you don't know what stink means when we say it. We mean it this way. But you heard it. I get how you heard it because you don't you're not part of the in-group that understands that.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So, it's fair that you got that. I get why you're upset. I remember there was a girl, I had made a post. It was like, maybe this was 4 or 5 years ago. And I made a post. It was in all seriousness. And then up under there, she said, LOL, said some stuff. I got in my feelings. I deleted the post. This is her maturity. And I had to give it to her. And her maturity, she inboxed me and apologized and said, you don't understand. There was an inside joke that you just so happened to hit on. And I was communicating that to the person that I linked in the thing.
Right.
It was an insight. She explained it all to me. And then now, like you said, now that I adjusted, I'm like, well, why the frick did I delete it?
Right.
But I didn't know. So my response was honest.
Right.
But it wasn't accurate because I didn't have all the information.
Right.
But see, I feel like the thing where a lot of mishap happens is in that space right there.
Yes.
Because a lot of the times, and at the end of the day, you can't, because it's too nice when it comes.
You gotta have enough. Go ahead.
It's because at that point it teeters. It teeters the line of being selfish. And
listeners,
because at some point, like if it's in a relationship and that moment comes, it's a matter of, do you choose yourself? Do you choose that person?
Or
do you choose the relationship? And when you decide to choose yourself, that relationship and that person is no longer, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not a priority. Right. And at least it's not going to feel that way to whoever that other person is. Right. Because if it was that little stark moment that you could have saved everything, and you didn't, and you chose to preserve yourself instead, well, what is it that I can depend on later?
And then when two people are genuinely in a unity and they really care about each other, having the perspective that's oriented towards the
betterment of the come on, say it again. It's not love.
It's not consistent with what you're trying to do as a unit. I'm not ever, if I love you with all my heart, my sister, my family, anybody,
I'm not
husband,
ever talking about you.
I am not trying to get a point to you.
Come on now.
To hurt you.
Exactly.
So if you interpret it like that, you might want to step back and be like, do I really know this woman?
Do I want to be with this woman if that's the way that she would look or talk about me?
Yourself, your first instinctive emotion that with defensive, and be like, hold on, let me hear her. Just for a second. And see what's being said, or not
even just let me hear her. Do I want this to be the type of person that I'm with? Do I want to believe that they are capable of what it is that I'm currently defending right now? And then go in either and ask that question of them, is this what you mean? Or, nah, this is what they meant and I'm protecting me. Fuck all that.
Right. But be clear that they meant that before you take that type of energy towards
that's the thing. That's what we're
anybody.
attacking.
And that's what we're talking about. Right. Just being clear, wanting to communicate with people and understanding that, yes, it's understood. We human. So we are our shining star in our light. We're going to care about how we feel about things.
But you're responsible for how you process your emotions.
But when you are communicating with somebody else, it is important to understand them as well and get out of your own way when listening to comprehend them in any given situation. And if it's repetitive enough that you always find yourself yelling at this person or find yourself always feeling attacked, if you be like, man, she always attacking me, she always downlifting me, da 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 da, you might, and you know she love you or he love you, and you always feel attacked, you might want to check how you receive and
digesting
somebody who really love you is really giving you. Because you might need to check how you perceive, and you might have to check how your outlook and all that, and have an actual conversation like that.
So here's my thing, and I think it's really
There's no reason for somebody who loves you to feel attacked all the time.
But here's the thing, and we all have experienced this. I think everybody in this room has experienced this. Welcome in, Keenan. How you doing? Doing good?
What's going on?
All right. Sometimes we show our worst selves to our better half. Sometimes we strike out because we want to feel like we can hit. Okay. And sometimes we hit the people closest to us because that's the closest thing to me. Mm-hmm. You know, you ever got mad enough to punch your wall? closest thing to you. Now you gotta fix this wall. And in that moment, the minute you hit them, you knew you shouldn't have hit them. But they already hit.
And feeling how they feel.
And now they feeling how they feeling. And now that anger is replaced with remorse because I hit this person and they didn't have it coming. They were the straw on the cap, like the movie Straw. You see what I did there? They were the straw that broke the camel's back.
Right.
But we ignore all the weight up under that straw.
Right.
That straw is not the villain. All the weight that made that straw.
The straw.
The straw, like, there's no reason a straw should be able to break your back.
Right.
It's all the weight up under it.
No straw should be able to break your back. Yeah. You should address each straw before it become a pile of straws that can break your back.
Exactly. Amen. So then now I'm snapping on my old lady because she's the straw. Now I'm snapping on my old man, or you're snapping on your old man because he's the straw. But the Miss Victoria at work, she's the workload.
But that's exactly why I try to vent to your ass in the motherfucking car, so I won't be snapping on you and I done process all the rest of my feelings.
When I come in from work, I want to talk. I'm not like that, but
just a quick little callback.
I'm not saying I'm like that, but who's more likely to ask for space?
I mean, I feel like everybody should be able to ask for space, regardless.
The guy is more likely to ask.
You think that I've only had
disclaimer. I have not been in many relationships.
So it's by default, nigga.
When talking about male and female. When talking about male and female. So my perspectives come from a select few of dealings with men.
Yeah.
But I'm attentive enough to be attentive to the human race psychologically to break shit down and all that.
I feel like everybody should be able to ask for some space from people who are supposed to be in their immediate circle. If you're in my immediate circle and you cannot give me space to express myself for about 15 to 20 minutes, what the fuck are you here?
Oh, we're not talking about space away. We're talking about space to talk.
Space to talk. Space to vent. Space to be human and have my emotions.
Okay, so I was talking about space to.
Check this out.
When he asked, I saw it from the point of asking for space to be in a different.
No. We talking about space to rant and vent, like a conversation in the car.
I think on a whole level of space, when you're talking about a relationship, right? What's the whole goal of a relationship? To be with somebody
to relate
forever.
Right.
To relate to that person.
That's
to relate.
A long fucking time. And you're telling me I can't vent to you for 20 minutes?
Hey, come vent to me for 20 minutes. Then let me go somewhere
He's talking about
else
physical space.
But no, you was talking. We were talking
for
about
like for an hour or something.
Yeah,
like
so then you can decompress and handle your own business, of course.
Or
ask for space.
Or decompress from my forever person.
Yeah, which is a thing as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because when we start talking about, when we go back to what he was saying, like that person who's close to you, your other half is usually looked at as your support, right? Sometimes people take their support, right? And that's the first place they want to vent to or give all their hurt to. You feel me? Sometimes that's a lie.
Yeah, but in the concept of a man asking for space, like physical space, to separate and just get a break for a second, that's what he's talking about.
Well,
you said both things, right?
It could be.
He just mean like
space,
a moment.
That space could be a moment, and the way it could be a moment for a man is to come and give that nigga a hug.
Yeah,
like. See, it's different ways to give him space. It could be just a mental space because we might not want to. When people say, sometimes it comes across crazy. You may hear people say, "Shut up," sometimes. Da, 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 da. It literally may be that. I don't want you to go nowhere, but I don't want you to say nothing either. Come give me a hug.
You just want a moment. You might want a moment in the other room.
Stop.
Don't ask no questions. Don't nothing. Let me figure it out. Just be right here while I figure it out.
Just be right here. 1 second. Just 1 second. Just give me a couple of seconds. Just give me a couple of minutes.
Silently present.
Yeah, silently present.
Silently present. Because space is interpreted the same way that I just assumed when I was about to respond.
Yeah.
Space is interpreted, I think, from a woman's aspect when they hear it from a man as I want to take a walk, or I want to drive to the store, or so-called. I want to just go. I just want to go get some space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And for me personally,
it was diabolical. It was that was ruthless.
Actually. For me personally, needing that type of space is valid. Like I understand needing space. When people talk about space, I don't think they consider everything that starts, because in the beginning of most relationships, space is there. Most people have space. Exactly. What ends up happening is certain things, certain traumas. I want to
keep Shadira in the conversation. She's had some stuff to say about what you're saying, so definitely want to give her space to talk through that. These are some of the points that she's raised.
Call-in number.
No, go on God.
We gonna have to get we're gonna have to get a call-in number. To get that song. Because I have all the capacity to do that. So yeah. So she says the issues you have emotionally at work shouldn't be taken into your union to be expressed and healed. That's her perspective.
Okay.
Unions are to be dwelling together in the spirit, mind, and emotional and body. Drain that support into the ground, but if you don't show up, then you don't care enough, especially when it comes from women to their men. I would love Shadira to elaborate on what that means. You got to learn not only yourself and what you need in your own individual space, but also the person who you are in union with.
Right, correct.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and that goes into what I was saying with how space is interpreted with women, with even men. If a woman asks for space, in the beginning, like I was saying, most of the time, space is a given. It flow, but then certain things start to happen where space is questionable. Like when you get space, what are you doing? Because last time you got space, wop the wop. So at this point, it's like, yeah, anybody with emotional intelligence wants to give you the space you ask for. But at the same time, nobody wants to worry about what you're doing with that space. You get what I'm saying?
But I think,
and if we're building, if we're healing, then you have to understand, I caused that uncomfortability that he or she has. And in that, you do your due diligence to show and prove that, hey, we're building trust, babe, and that's not what's going on.
I think that's a different level to the conversation than what we were talking about. But I agree with that second half. When it comes down to that part, realistically to me, I didn't know fucking such thing as space at that point. Because nigga, where the fuck is you going? What do you need space from? What the fuck you did? No, you need to be right here figuring out how to solve that problem. But that's when it comes down on their side to communicate in exactly what's going on, to give you that reassurance and understanding in that moment, to give you that security so that later on eventually those emotions can, fade out, because that's the purpose of it. It's not to continue to stay in that cycle. It's to give you the constant reassurance that eventually you'll stop having to worry about it. So it's work on both ends of trusting the words that he's saying when he's telling you that that's what he's doing, and giving you that evidence of I'm speaking in general terms. Whenever I say he, I mean generally. I speak how the Bible does.
She means me.
I like how you did that.
She means me. I fucked up. It's cool.
Nigga, I wasn't talking about you.
No. I'm just messing around. No, but so the problem, the thing I think with that is, I think we be afraid of how far we pushed sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, fucking well.
Because sometimes push back feels like push away.
Oh, yes.
And then sometimes you pushed on it doesn't, like she said, it doesn't have to be gender specific. We pushed on them so far that we feel like they're not going out, they're going away. Like, I have to get away from this. Not I have to get out, but I have to get away. And then now you're afraid that you've done too much.
But my thing at that point, again, with the initial problem of whatever it is that you're causing this thing, you're still leaning on your own self and your self-understanding. Because if you're feeling this way, that means that there's no acknowledgement, there's no information, and there's no accuracy in whatever the hell you're talking about. You have honest emotions on how you may think that this is going, but it's not valid. You're then again self-soothing your own person in this relationship and not giving a fuck about the us. And that's when it all becomes a problem. Because if at the end of the day, the only person that you are willing to save is yourself, you do not need to be in a relationship with anybody.
Yes.
Okay.
But when
but being in a relationship and beginning to feel that way.
Feeling which way?
The way that you just said that they don't need to be. If they feel that way, if they selfishly listening, if they have to save themselves for whatever way, and they don't need to be in a relationship.
No.
And you're in a relationship, and you want that relationship.
How do you want it?
Or say that.
How do you want it?
If you want that relationship,
do you want the company?
What you mean? You might not realize
you don't know. Listen, no, trust me. If you are willing to save yourself over y'all, you don't want that person. You want the comfort and the company and the access and the advantages that they bring. It ain't got shit to do with them. Because if it did have something to do with them, without any of that, they would still be in that same spot, and you wouldn't be.
So with them being in that, so in the case, there are situations where people listen selfishly. Have all of that what you just said and are in relationships with people that they won't let go.
Yeah, I know.
So with that being said, being in a relationship and having that thought process when you listen or when you do anything, you save self first, yet you're in a relationship.
I got PTSD.
Poof.
Right. Then that's when you know it's that, and you can't lead a person to believe that you want to be with them without putting work towards not being selfish. If you're going to continue being self-oriented and saving self in any given situation, then yes, you need to be honest about that. You're not willing.
Just be honest with yourself.
If you're not willing to change that as an individual, and
let that person go.
Then let that other person go.
Please.
But if you're willing. First, you have to be able to acknowledge that that's what's going on.
Whenever people can learn how to stop being vain, whatever the fuck that word is that he said earlier, vainglorious, and saving themselves.
That word was actually used towards me, and as we read a little deeper, I'm not that.
Vainglorious.
Vainglorious.
Yeah, it's the substitute word that we're using now for narcissism because narcissistic personality disorder is an actual medical term. So
I wouldn't say substitute. I would not.
Trust.
I wouldn't say substitute.
I had to walk into that, but
I wouldn't say substitute.
I think it's a decent substitute when it comes down to certain things. Now, do I feel as if it accompanies when some situations give me a second. When it comes down to situations where it's just females seeing that it's a nigga that just ain't shit and he's just kind of full of himself, all right. You can give vainglory for that. But when it's a literal nigga that he's constantly gaslighting you, projecting situations, he is deliberately turning situations against you and making sure that he's the person that's on top. When he's deliberately giving out these character traits of what narcissistic personality is, cool. By all means, I understand you identifying with it. But there is still, and I hate when he says this, but there is a fashion where we abuse words for the
confirmation bias.
Yeah, we abuse words for the, again, like I was saying earlier, for the effect of it, because a lot of what we're doing online, and I'm gonna bring this all full circle to what I said earlier, because we were saying that was a problem in the communication that we would have, is people using words to incorrectly, basically. And with narcissism or whatever, that's one of those words that people use as a buzzword. I think is the phrase that we use or whatever now. And because a lot of the times whatever we're doing on social media is emotional based, 9 times out of 10 all we're doing is emotionally dumping online. That's typically what people do. And so when we're using these buzzwords, we're using it because it gives the emotional impact that we're looking for. And we're not finna go in and go to Google and find a fucking synonym, because right now I'm using these 100 characters that I can as best to my ability. Because I'm trying to get this time out.
Shadira, go ahead and call.
My phone did.
Call Empress, and Empress is gonna put you up to the mic. We're gonna get you in on this. So check it out, and 100%. But I think because and I hate to say it like this, I'm gonna sound like an uncle. Yeah, I'm gonna sound like a steak meat ass nigga.
You're gonna sound your age is okay.
But niggas don't read. All right.
No, we don't. But we're also not going on social media to write dissertations.
Wait. So there was a certain level, there's a certain level of understanding that comes when you have a birth of words
Yes.
So then when you don't have these words, you have to start making other words mean words because you don't have the words.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So then you can be false signaling people because you don't know what those words mean.
If you're listening,
but the person who does understand those words needs you to understand those words mean a lot. So when you say narcissism, but you mean conceit, when you say narcissism and you mean arrogant, you are, to the person who knows what those three words mean individually, they're like, all right.
Okay, but let's be for real. Hold on, time out.
Wait,
can we be so fucking for real though? Because how many people online genuinely, how many motherfuckers online genuinely are going to care that much, let alone actually know sometimes the stark difference between each of these definitions? Most of these motherfuckers cannot. Yes, which is true, but a lot of people don't even know the difference between there, and there.
Hold on, Shadera.
That is correct.
So
let Shadera come in. Shadera, what you got? Put it on top.
Shadera.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What you got?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Personally, I don't like speaking on certain stuff unless I know I've researched. Me, when I'm talking about words, I go look up the etymology. I go look up the actual use of it. I go look up what it used to mean, and then I speak on it. So it's like when I hear certain things, it's like, that's more like emotional based than that is based on what it actually means and grasping and understanding before you go into conversation.
Shadera, but that's not how you. Yeah, but that's Shadera. That's not how you understand the person that's talking to you.
Past that point, though, how a person is talking to you. I'm saying when I'm thinking of the actual terms being said to me, that's how I process it. Now, when I'm actually looking at somebody and I'm dealing with that person, not only am I trying to actually learn you as far as I'm trying to hear what you're saying, ask the right questions, because that's what therapy is, healing through talking. So I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to ask questions. I need to figure out what exactly is it that you're trying to say to me. How does your body language respond to certain words? Things like that as far as me actually trying to know you so I can get an understanding of you so you can break down what you're trying to say to me.
Right. So real quick, and I want to add this in, and then I think that's going to do. You have to, women, and I think she does this, and I think, and especially the way Keller's talking, she's understanding this. You have to understand how men listen.
We ain't talking to y'all niggas on my own social media.
Wait. And because I'll call back to his conversation.
No, I know. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. Men hear the way women speak as a call to action. So whenever you start talking, I start calculating what I have to do.
But that's something that
So wait. So the minute you start saying narcissist, the minute you start saying he did this and he did that, I start thinking, all right, I got to do something about this. Right?
But we're not talking to y'all when we have these discussions.
So then when you I don't know if everybody's seen Menace to Society. Mm-hmm. And if you remember when he, called the girl, I'm pregnant. Man, I put the Jimmy on extra tight. She ran to her brother, excited him to go over there and confront dude. Now he ended up getting stomped out. But the language that she used, because women understand who they're talking to innately. When I talk to a man, I'm getting a production value out of him. If me and you get into an argument where you feel like I'm disrespecting you above your ability to, take in, now I know I gotta deal with him. Because that's who you're gonna take this to. And then when you and then when you take that to him, he's going to hear what I gotta do about Jive. Because he's not going to disrespect my woman, and I'm here, her man. Yeah. So when women talk to men, you have to understand the first thing we hear is what I gotta do.
But that's the problem, though.
No,
because
wait. Before you say anything, black men.
But that's not always.
People narcissists most of the time are the ones who are the narcissists.
But a lot of the times, most people don't want to actually accept those differences and keep trying to blur the lines, even though eventually they still pop up in situations as far as conversations, thought pieces like this.
But it's not always. It's not always genderized for one.
Because that's what I'm saying. No, but okay, but hold on, because
it's a connotation.
Yes, but when we're saying that,
but women,
I'm saying
we gotta wait. They're the ones who are being narcissists. Like,
if a man's not a
Oh,
problem solver,
Shadera.
hold on, Shadera, hold on. Shadera, hold on.
She might be hearing me like delayed.
Yeah.
So she gonna hear me 7 seconds.
Hold on, Shadera.
my thing is now we're hopping to specifics. We were never on specifics. And I think no, you good. I'm talking about him because he went straight to women talking to men about men being narcissists. We don't say shit to y'all about that type of stuff. We're talking to our homegirls typically when we're having these discussions, and then we may tell you.
I'm disagreeing with. Hold on, Shadera. I'm disagreeing with that.
Me?
Yeah.
You going to another man to tell another man what he did? You're not going to your homegirls?
I'm going to my man.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Are we talking? I guess I'm having a misunderstanding. Are
we
not talking about? Huh?
I would say even if you go to your homegirls, once y'all go to your homegirls, y'all homegirls act on what y'all talk about, so it still come back to the nigga after of it.
I mean,
so
cool, but
either way, whether you gonna say it in the public of the internet on Mark Zuckerberg's internet, or if you go say it to your homegirl, it's still gonna come back to we're gonna have to adjust to however y'all feel.
Okay, but it's the same thing on either side, regardless of who's venting. Is what I'm saying.
So, wait. Oh, Shadera. She's coming home. Hold on, Shadera. So, Jive addressing the men talking, women talking to the men.
How the men hear.
How men hear as a call to action. If that was the actual case, then we wouldn't really be having the conversation that we're having, because what we're saying is that we want to be understood, and I don't think that's just a woman or male thing. I think that's just a communication type of thing. When we communicate, we want to be understood. That's the point of communication. There's no other reason to communicate. And if the person listening was not so based on linguistics and they were there to call to action, they would be more
properly
in
handle the
tune
situation
with what is being communicated rather than the linguistics being used to communicate. And if they were called to action, that's what would be being done. All people would be more.
No, so what you're doing is you're normalizing your language and saying, no, you need to understand the way I speak.
I'm
and
saying,
then so that wait,
stop. In this space, can I ask a question? In this space, who is the person that is supposed to be awarded leeway in this? Because if I'm talking to you and you're interpreting me this way, am I supposed to now speak in a language that you're not going to interpret? Or are you supposed to understand how to interpret me?
That's what I'm saying.
Steps need to happen. So, boom, you come and tell me something, right? Boom. So now I need to repeat it just to make sure. I need to know what I need to do, because that's what when you come.
Clarifying what you need from this conversation. I talk about that all the time.
So, babe, so is this what you telling me? You telling me X, Y, Z, whoop and all? At this point in time, you could be like, hell no, nigga, they ain't want me. Or exactly.
Oh, yes.
So once you say I'm on go, but because you have just given
and
me
that goes back. That goes back to what we were saying.
There.
The difference. Calling to action and calling to be
and jumping to
being
action.
Called to action and being called to a defense and assumption of what's being the act of what I need to act on is the problem.
It's
when you're listening selfishly, like we were saying, then you're not hearing me. You ready to defend or run away from whatever the situation is.
But you can
when you're listening to defend, when you're listening to run, when you're listening for self, all in general, you're missing all of the when you're listening for linguistics, you're missing the communicational point. The only reason we have language
stop. I'm gonna pause you out.
is to communicate.
Because you cannot
talk
say
to me nice.
That's one thing. You have a responsibility to words.
Yes.
Words don't get to mean what you make them mean.
If you don't have it, that's not fair to the thoughts in the community.
Yes, it is. Because you owe communication. Like, and I've had this conversation. Because what ends up happening is I have to learn a new language every time you talk.
Not every time.
Every time you have a new emotional set,
Correct.
If you are going to marry,
stop.
if you marry her, you are doing that.
Stop.
That makes
You have to learn
Listen.
Listen. Nobody has to do anything.
If you're going to
Stop.
Let him go, Empress, because you just let him talk.
Nobody has to do anything, right?
Nobody. Nobody is forced to do anything.
So
when you're having a conversation,
no,
listen. So when you're talking to somebody, and to her point, there has to be mutual understanding.
Yeah.
But that mutual understanding has to be based in something that's outside of the bias of both parties. There has to be a middle ground where we understand this is what the truth is. My feelings are not true. His feelings are not true. Right? That's what discipline is. When you hold yourself to a discipline, you hold yourself to a middle ground where nobody gets to pull it one way or the other. You don't get to say, words don't get to matter when I'm talking. And he doesn't say only words matter.
It's not that that's like going into a conversation and I'm going to intentionally misappropriate these words grammatically. So you can be pissed off and talk about linguistics instead of what my motherfucking point is. I'm not talking to you with English to misinterpret. I'm talking to you for the pure.
My thing is, a lot of the times when you're talking about anything,
I'm not trying to tear the dictionary up on purpose when I'm communicating with you.
No, it's
and if
my
I
mind
don't
is going
have
too
the
fucking
words,
I'm gonna say
so
what's the
the
closest
fuck
thing
what
to it.
if you understand what I'm communicating to you? Like,
Well,
but
because
another thing, though, that
wait a minute, stop.
Saying,
because what your point is, you're saying is he's listening selfishly, but you're not talking about how you're talking selfishly.
Yes.
Because if only what I say matters, and if only how I say it matters, then what you're doing is you're putting the onus on that person.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that my tone should not be being monitored. I'm probably already monitoring that. Wait. I'm saying
unless those words
I'm going to the words.
Let
me cook real quick. Let me say what I'm saying. I might be already calming myself down. I might already be monitoring my tone. I might already be doing all of these things for me to have to express myself and go through my Rolodex of words I may not even have. We already doing that. Like, at some point, it has to be about the communication. I already know that every time we get into a conversation, you're going to be linguistic on me. So I'm already trying to find the proper words to express this. You see me roll my eyes and think up in my head for the right word. Stop doing that. That's pressure on the person that's just trying to communicate how they feel to you.
Like, to me, I feel like unless those words.
Wait.
You got a dictionary. I don't. We talking about the dictionary you know about. That's not fair to the person communicating to you. You don't listen to a Spanish-speaking person that's learning English like that.
Okay, but you still gotta come to like a middle point on it. You see what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
Because it's gonna be hard for somebody to change how they think, how they hear, because that means somebody is gonna have to change how they hear. But then it's also somebody is gonna have to change how they talk.
Then you get mad at the person who repeat themselves in a different way over and over just to make sure that they fit in your linguistic appropriation.
So at this point in time, now you make your decisions, because I done been through the whole thing, the whole gamut. So now you got to figure out what you're gonna do. Either you gonna figure out how to compromise with it. Okay, like, hey, yo, I'ma try to give you a chance. Hey, yo, listen. When this comes to me and it sounds stupid, I'm going to pause and call time out and say, hey, let's figure out what this means.
Say
I'm going to give you, say it again differently and give you the cue instead of you having to sit up there all the time, rolling it like, what I need to say.
But that's the middle ground. It's giving that space for that person to be able to resurface themselves to properly communicate to you. But that requires that person to be able to give that space for them.
That requires time.
He's been hella patient. Please let him have some space. Go ahead, bro. What you got?
Because it's, I really don't like to talk about talking.
That's a clip. I don't like ahead.
I'm so serious, bro. I really am because
Breathe.
That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? Because I gotta interpret all the bodies in the room, and I got it, and I get it, and it's like it's kind of vain. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we just moving our lips because we can. You know what I'm saying? It's like what are we saying? You feel me? It's like
his
like,
y'all already heard the bars.
That's what I do, y'all. I listen to bars.
Yeah. And it's like, so it's like when we communicate, it's as far as like a baby, like we're talking about the baby. We do this. It's a natural thing. Like, see, just like like boom, those little things used to get me, and it's like realizing like you train. It's a give and take. It's a compromise, middle ground balance, and it's a forever changing thing. It's never everything. These like just as words become popularized and lose their value, we gonna get through it like, and then we like, oh man, bling bling. Who said that? Or whatever word that you was affiliating that meant everything to you, and covered the whole everything. Like this covers everything. I could say this word because it covers all that.
Child.
You feel me? One thing that you can do. Once that
Slick
word
was one of them words.
Lose that, and when it loses that, then that's when you lose your choice of understanding for it. 1 second. When it comes to active listening, and listening is really hearing with your eyes, and it's for you to really interpret, like we always talk about, interpreting exactly what this person, like, you know what I'm saying? It's an instant filter. It's an instant filter. It's the instant filter. Okay. Then when you hear with your ears, you know what I'm saying? It's like you see with your ears. You feel me? Cause like,
what you talking about, Juice?
I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Shit, what they talking, but
and it's for real. Now it's telepathic. Appreciate that. And like when we like really understanding your person too, y'all. We all our peoples. When we understand our peoples, we understand that person do understand. I understand that person really do understand. Mm-hmm. When the person say I get it, that person really do get it. Because that's my person. That's the reason I keep doing this to you. Because you do get it, and I know you do, but we fight through it. So go on, mom. Anyway, though,
I'm done. No, he didn't.
Nah, for real, but I channel. I get what he be doing. But it's like,
here's my question.
Okay.
Like, because, and I get that, and I think it's wonderful what you're saying. Like the idea, like your person gets you, your person understands you, but in real time, sometimes we don't, because what I'm bringing to the table, what I'm listening, not even with, but what I'm listening through, because I'm just like you're talking through your day, I'm listening through my day. Mm-hmm. Just like you know what I'm saying, you're using your words. When you're going through your Rolodex of words, I'm going through my Rolodex of words to hear you. Mm-hmm. Where does this word mean when the way I understand it? Mm-hmm. So,
but that's the problem. You're going for your understanding once again, and not the understanding of that person.
You know, can I give an example to you? Yeah.
Jive, I'm gonna give her a
Jive to you, right? Mm-hmm. And what you're saying right now, just like we use the example of the baby. I don't know if we did that here or there.
Yeah,
but
she definitely wants to say something.
We spoke on the baby, mm-hmm. and when a baby cries, we have to learn to understand the different cries of woo-de-woo mm-hmm. from a baby, and there's no linguistics in that.
Right.
And you're attentive to it. You learn this child. You understand when she do like that. It's this woo-de-woo. That same initiative that you take to be attentive to that child is the same initiative that it takes. Just understand. It's the same initiative. It's the same initiative that it takes to learn a person. You really have to be attentive. Linguistics shouldn't be why we arguing.
Shadira, go ahead.
Can I say something?
Yeah. Go ahead. It's on you.
Okay. Ooh, thank y'all for having me tap in. So, this is what I want to say for real. Like, as far as two individuals go, that's the whole point of a union and learning your person. like y'all recognizing that you are two individual people choosing to come together to actually learn one another. Whether it's body language, whether y'all actually talking, aka linguistics and stuff, or just understanding how you see somebody do something in their actions. That's the whole point of the union. You're literally dedicating that time and that attention, like he said, with your two eyes and whatnot, and how you said earlier, like you're literally applying that as two individuals coming together. So when it comes down to like actually dealing with a situation, as far as a person putting up a boundary, or even trying to understand what your person is trying to elaborate when they're coming to you, that's where it comes together as far as why it's important. So if your person is coming in there, coming to you, they're coming in there talking and expressing themselves because such and such had whatever day they had. Yes, you should want to analyze that person. Okay, I see their body language. I know she turned up a little bit, or he turned up a little bit. I know they feeling some type of way about something. I want to be a problem solver, or I want to be a listening ear, but at the same time, I'm trying to read you and understand what exactly are you on. So even if I ask questions, it ain't because I'm trying to get like linguistic with you. Maybe I'm really trying to get to know you better, because at the end of the day, we're humans, we're people. What might work today for us might not work tomorrow. So it's like you constantly have to come into that union expecting to want to learn your partner, which is why it's different from people that's been in unions for a few short years or a few short months worth different from people that actually been in unions for like years on top of years, to where it took that time for them to be able to learn that person. And even as they're going through the motions as far as the time periods, they're still continuously learning each other. It's always going to be something new, something different. So if I'm reading you when you first walk in and you want to spaz, I get you want to talk about work because that's probably something that's on your mind. But as I'm reading it, if I know I don't really want to be that listening ear right now, or I'm really trying to make sure I don't have to find the solution to the problem and you want me to find a solution, like I have to be given that grace, because at the end of the day, I'm my own person. So just because this is what you want me to be on doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to be on that. And just because I'm not able to be that person doesn't mean I'm rejecting how you feel or not caring about you as an individual, as my person in this union. Maybe that's just my boundary I'm sticking to right now. Maybe sometimes my person comes in all the time talking about this stuff, talking about work. Work is always that extra baggage that gets brought down into us, to where we have to solve it together, and not necessarily solve it as far as like, I gotta figure out how to get such and such. It's more like, we gotta actually deal with those emotions. We gotta help heal those emotions, that stress that you got from work.
Right.
So we gotta break that down now.
Yeah.
I don't have the capacity, and just because I don't per se have that capacity to deal with your work life, your work emotions, doesn't mean that I'm rejecting you, or it doesn't mean that I'm not trying to be with you.
Shadara.
Take this union serious.
Shadara. Shadara.
Do you got on mute?
No. She probably talking to the phone and not by her ear. We can hear you. We trying to share the floor. Juice want to say something.
Oh snap!
My goodness. She had y'all heads sounding like it was a song too. Yeah.
So I had so much to say. I think I just want to ask one question. When is So I just keep hearing y'all talk about communication, and what Wall was saying. Like, I hate talking about talking. Like, where like you talking about how to figure out how to talk. When do you get to a point where it's like, okay, this person just isn't
gonna get it?
Get it exactly. Yeah. When does that point come?
You did.
I feel like when people start giving up, that's when you just can't do it no more. When you don't have the will.
You shouldn't have to put yourself through that.
It shouldn't get to that point.
I like I said,
that's what this conversation just put me in the mindset of. It's like it feels like that's where that is leading to. Like if me coming home and talking to you about my day done brought us to this whole thing where now you feel like I'm just emotionally dumping on you, and it's to the point where it's stressing you out, but it's something that I regularly do. Maybe I'm just not for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When do you
I
say
believe,
enough is enough?
I believe it's when anybody makes you get out of character. If you get out of who you are and you start questioning yourself because you're with someone else, and you have to start changing yourself for that person, I don't think you should be with them.
I mean, changing yourself to what degree? Because we all.
If it's not of the betterment of your character, it's no.
Are you changing your morale and your principles?
Check this out. Changing and evolving
are two different things.
Please, I asked you that. I understand.
I got you.
I asked you that because that word that's used also.
So if you're a talkative person,
the difference between change and evolution.
Correct.
Evolution. It's okay to change.
Development.
Yes, you're developing yourself. You shouldn't have to change your core values to be with somebody. I don't like when people say that relationships are work, and the work is actually just learning somebody else
or learning it. Yeah,
exactly. Learning how to work with, because working with somebody else for forever.
You should both be trying to be a better person.
So
integrity is real.
Okay, so what you were saying about how the way you speak, the linguistics. I can't.
Linguistics.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like so it's like when do you? I'm talking, and you. I guess you not understanding what I'm saying, or you're not catching what I'm saying. Like, when is the cutoff for that? Like, when is?
So that's the point of these types of conversations: is to have these conversations with each other. When it gets to that point, and at that point, once there's understanding about that, like if me and you argue all the time, and I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to express how I feel to you. Stop linguisticing me all the time. Stop getting on me about the words I'm using. Just feel where I'm coming from. And if I need to reinterpret something, because you call
later on, ask me those questions.
If I need to reinterpret something, because you said the word da 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 da, and that meant something to me. Da 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 da. What did you mean by that?
And then
I said, I didn't mean. My bad for using that word. I didn't mean that. I meant this, that, and the third. Now let's stay on topic. Let's be done with that.
But also,
and let's continue with the
conversation.
conversation.
There's a thing called inference. When you infer. When you use context clues, and then that is always also included into understanding.
You know what I'm
no, that's what I'm saying. But it's also included in the process of understanding that person. Right. So like, although you may not like how they use this word, are they just a little in their feelings right now? So they being dramatic? Yeah. Now, unless they have deliberately gone out their way to disrespect, belittle, demean, or categorize you, then I don't feel like it's a need to harp on that one word.
If
because
they don't
at that
call
point,
you,
we're focusing on the semantics.
If you call me vain or something like that, then
or
I need to stop and understand what you mean by that. Because to me, that don't mean that. You know what I'm saying? You might be saying senile, and you say vain instead.
That goes to the sense of entitlement, because y'all want an explanation for everything.
We want to understand.
Who the fuck said that?
Why would it?
Because this is what we're talking and saying that y'all are asking. No, we're saying y'all are asking for the explanations right now.
I'm not talking to a person on the street that I'm probably not going to see tomorrow. I'm talking to my person.
Again, understanding how men hear, because especially black men.
How that can't be an excuse for everything. I hear this way because I talk to my male counterparts. You're not dealing with that.
That's not
Let's see what
it
means.
That's not what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Because for black men, the letter of the word is freedom in jail. We understand the word, the letter of the law. We're not held to the spirit of the law. Wait, stop. We're not held to the... Because everywhere that we go, the letter of the rules are what we're held to. The absolute, what they mean at their extreme.
And before you go to your action, you should be able to have a conversation to interpret that.
So, what you're telling men, right, is abandon everything that you understand. Because the only thing that matters is what I'm saying.
Okay, but you're telling me to do the same thing.
No, I'm saying that if me and you have a situation.
Because if you understand that your man deals in that language the majority of his day, the majority of my life is understanding what these words can mean to me at the most problematic. And then you come to me with something problematic. And I have to listen.
the way I've been told how to survive. Because how we understand words is how we survive as black men.
We not talking to Sergeant. We ain't talking to Sergeant Bill.
Or
We
deputy.
talking to me and you. Jive. If me
But
and you,
wait, stop. If
sense.
we're talking to me and you, then me is part of me and you. So why aren't you talking to me the way I understand?
And why aren't you understanding
Jive,
me
Jive,
the way that I need to be
Jive,
understood?
That's
Jive,
where the middle of the road.
let me
Okay,
say
that's
this.
fine.
Hold
but-
on, Shadera. Let me say this, Jive.
I don't like it.
It's understood. It's understood.
When
Jive.
do you say?
It's understood. It's understood between me and you that there's an age difference. There's a hobby difference. You might read. I might study biology all the time. Like there's understood that there's differences. And if I come to you with issues and you. If I come to you, if that's the case, but if I came to you with an issue and I'm trying to elaborate my issue to you, I'm already speaking English. We already understand English. You already understand my personality. If I'm coming to you and I'm talking to you and you get hooked up on a few of the words that I say, that's not how that's gonna go because you know me. You get what I'm saying?
But my thing is, you're talking about freedom in jail.
I'm not assuming for you. I see what you're doing, but I know that I've actually had conversations with you, and I've actually used some of the wrong words, and I realized I used some of the wrong words, but you already understood where I came from. So that's what I'm saying. When you start choosing, I know it exists, and that's what I'm saying. I know you have the mental wherewithal. I know you have the fortitude. I know you understand me. Yeah. I'm not talking to a dumbass. I'm not talking to the smartest individual on the planet that's on.
But also sometimes, just
Yeah.
like you have boundaries, so do I. Sometimes I don't feel like having to decipher. I don't want to do that right now. I want you to talk and mean what you say and say what you mean.
Well,
I
then,
don't want to have to do any
okay,
other
but then
deciphering.
be realistic though when you're doing that and say that you do not have the capacity for me at this point in time.
Right.
Because that's what the truth behind that is. No, I said that earlier. Because if you cannot take my dramatics at this moment while I'm coming to you, just say that. Don't make me feel as if I'm the problem because you cannot handle what I'm bringing to the table. At the end of the day, come on now. If
Don't
you
make me the
can't,
problem for your will.
thank you. If
Like,
you
you
can't
don't have
stomach
the
it, my
will
nigga,
to
just
do
make
it.
that be
That's
known.
not
Be the
my
bad
fault.
guy.
Now,
And
y'all,
also don't be upset
Quotation.
if this is really important to the person. If it's really
Wait, listen.
go ahead. But if it's really important to the person,
You shouldn't give a fuck.
then you missing the thing. And if it's really important to that person and you don't want to hear it right now, don't be upset about me going to
Somebody
her
else to
or
talk
him.
about it.
You can't do that.
I don't know
And-
about that.
No, you how?
went forward to him.
I mean, that's what I was like.
Go ahead.
Let's
Go
say
ahead.
him or
You-
her is some type of emotional
Let's-
cheating
let's-
aspect, and
Yeah,
then
no,
there's
but
a question.
you're
But if
my
I'm talking about my
person.
best friend or my whoever other resource I have outside of you, to now I have to resort to, you've asked for that.
I do understand, and even though quote unquote may or may not like it, I do understand it though.
Because who the fuck am I supposed to talk to? The wall?
But at the same time, that's a Pandora's box. Don't do that.
I'm not about to censor myself for your comfortability when I was asking you for space to take in mine. Like, no, that's selfish as fuck. I'm asking you to be selfless right now, and you're asking me to worry about you while I'm trying to figure out myself. How am I going to support you while I'm trying to figure out how to deal with my own things at this moment?
That's the complexity of human beings.
So
You're asking somebody
Okay.
to shut off because you don't feel like having to shut off. And you feel like...
No.
Let's hear what Juice got to say.
Yeah, okay. Hold on. I'll put the camera on it because...
I'm looking at you, by the way.
Yeah, no, I see that.
I be losing my train of thought. Snap. Who said that? Who said? I think it was you. You said like if you don't have the
capacity to deal with it, just say that.
Exactly. So my thing is when they tell you, when the man come and be like, hey, I can't, you come and you walk in the house, man, can you believe this bitch? Da, da, da. Well, babe, I got da 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 whatever. Even if he don't give you the explanation, I can't take that right now. how do you respond? Do you respond?
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like, are you now upset at him?
Because somebody could have just died. You know what I'm saying? And you don't even know. He can't take it right now.
Exactly.
You know
Which is so it's like it's something that Shadara said earlier. It's like, yeah, that's your person, but it's not that. It's not his job to make you feel better.
It's not his job, which is perfectly fine. So if you don't have the space for that or whatever, if this is a routine or a new boundary that you want to set up, cool. Make that be known. Give me the opportunity to understand that so I can move about it. But do not make me feel like I'm a shitty person because I don't know this new boundary you developed.
Mm-hmm.
Communicate yourself.
And
let me know that this is no longer something that you want to create space for.
And it don't make you a shitty person for finding what you need to do with that. If you sit with yourself and you like, okay,
but also
I want to talk
with morale.
I come.
It's not human. If I can't talk to you, I need to talk to somebody.
My sister. If something going on and I need to talk to my if something going on and I need to talk to my sister and I call my sister and she said I can't deal with that right now, and I call mama and then you get mad because instead of me talking to you like I always do, I went to mama and talked to her. You can't get mad at me for talking to mama when I needed I was about to blow my brains out and you couldn't do it right then. And I not anything. I was about to do anything or I need to talk to somebody. I'm about to whatever.
The difference is.
And you're not there. You can't be upset.
The difference is the type of relationship. The difference is that's a familial thing.
Yeah. That's why I said don't do it morale.
If I call my brother on the phone and then he can't talk, so I call my other brother because like 3 of them.
Correct.
And that's not me.
Okay.
That's not wait, stop. What are you gonna do? Stop.
No.
That's not me. That's not me cheating on my brother. That's
right.
not me sabotaging my relationship with my brother. That's me like, yo, Jerron, I need to talk to you. Hey, yo, I got something to do right now.
Okay.
I can't.
I come to you.
I'm gonna call Jamal.
You
Jamal,
my man.
what you got going on?
You my man.
Wait. So I'm about to do that. So if Kel comes to me and I'm like, look, right now I'm not in the space, and if she gets on the phone with this nigga, I'm like, yo, no, that's a no go.
I mean, obviously.
Because what you're doing is giving your relationship cues to another man. What she's doing is giving her relationship. What I'm doing is giving my relationship cues to another woman.
Correct.
And then putting her in charge of my. So that's cheating.
Emotionally cheating.
Right.
Yes, that is
So
correct.
that's
why I
okay,
said.
so let's
that's
talk
why
about
she said that. I
this
said
happens.
So more
This happens in a lot of situations. What is a person to do if I come in today off from work or whatever and I want to talk to you and you don't feel like that right now? Later on, I bring it back up. I ain't talk to nobody else about it. I wait for you to be right now, and right now is right now. I come to you. You don't want to talk about it. Tomorrow, something happened again to add on to what happened, and I want to talk to you again, and you don't want to talk about it, but you'll talk to me about everything. And now you don't want to talk to me about.
That's just unfair.
But you don't want.
That's fair to say.
But you don't want to talk about that. But we can talk about this. So we can talk about football, and I take the time we talking about football to bring that up, like. Now we sitting here talking, and you say, "Man, I don't want to talk about that." No, I'm saying let's say we chilling. Let's say we chilling, and I see this as an opportunity to talk because we both vibing. You ain't doing nothing, I ain't doing nothing. We together.
But my
so now I
is
take that opportunity to talk about the issue.
Comfortable spaces to talk to your
we
spouse
talk about
is
the issue.
Already an abusive.
But if you tell
I
me,
want her to explain that. But go ahead.
If I say I need to talk to you, and I keep coming to you, and I want to talk, and you don't want to talk about it, and I need to, because I got decisions I got to make in the next whatever time about whatever, and you don't want to talk about it, and I go talk to somebody else to try to get some kind of something, and maybe I need a male's perspective, and I came to you, but you ain't trying to hear what I got to say.
As long as there's nobody that's trying to put their dick in you or already has, it's not a problem.
Of course, like that's like I'm having a problem with him, and I talk and I call Jive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just saying I go to somebody.
Talking to me about your ex.
Nah, let me say.
That's why I said anybody that's trying to put their dick in you or already has, those people are off limits. You don't need to talk to them.
Or you even want it.
It's levels. It's
even if it's somebody you want it.
Thank you.
It's intensities too. Like facts.
But I think
it's intensities though. Like okay, say I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
But you know, like if you about to blow your brains out, say that. You feel me? Or
if
you ran out of gas, or you got a flat. Hold on, somebody. Whatever is coming, like the intensity of what you're trying, what you need to convey. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Lead with if it's that intense that you would have to go talk to somebody else about it, then lead with that. lead with that, knowing that, like the brother was saying,
this conversation has to happen.
The call, it was like that. It was like that. No,
But like certain situations,
but it's intensities, cause like we can meet, like say I'm going through it and I'm trying to hold it together. You know what I'm saying? And it could be anybody. Somebody come bring me something. I'm like, hold on. I'm like, hold on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't take it. I'm decompressing right now, whatever the case may be, or you know what I'm saying? Like, that's touchy right now for me right now, whatever the case may be. But then we end up vibing on another tip, like you were saying. You know what I'm saying? But then somebody bring up, hey man, you want to talk about the thing that thing? I'm like, damn it, man, that's is she, why you no? We trying to get me?
That means it's
hold
important
on.
to the person.
I get that. So the intensity of it, like instead of just if it's to the thing, like before you would go reach out to find another understanding of like, boom, this what it is. Drop that on the table. That's what I see. Like if it's like, man, I got X amount, I'm doing this move or whatever the case. Drop that on the table and I'm like, either you or somebody else. If that's the level.
Yeah, let
At that point, you're trying to talk to your spouse, and you see that your spouse is avoiding you, talking to them. You're still okay. And I guess that go back to y'all thinking, maybe my spouse is being selfish. But then are you not being selfish by not realizing that this conversation, for whatever reason, is stressing him out?
Right.
He can't deal with it. He can't.
But if it's something that need to be dealt with, and you done took your day, you done took days of not, when is the point that y'all can talk about it?
Write a note.
It could
communication or a relationship.
It is. That's a novel way.
Never that y'all can talk about.
What if it's something? What if somebody thinking about? What if it's an issue that needs to think about you?
I got this. So what she's saying is, you constantly trying to push a conversation onto somebody that they don't want to have is you being selfish within yourself. Regardless of the importance of this conversation to you, it doesn't equate, or if it does equate on that other end, they're still not ready to have this conversation. The decision then at that point is on you whether or not you can deal with the fact that they are avoiding this conversation or not. So then you choose if you're going to stay with this person and be okay with the conversation not happening, or leave because they're not willing to face this situation with you.
There you go.
That depends on the depth. That depends on the depth of.
It doesn't. The depth of anything doesn't matter when it comes down to the principle of understanding and when it comes down to your feelings.
And
at
that point, they should want to know.
No, they should not want to anything. Nobody has to do a fuck thing for
anybody.
anybody.
If it's leading you to making a decision,
listen to me. Nobody owes you anything.
Yes.
So just because it's important to you, and I get where I guess the part where you're not understanding, because you haven't had this discussion with them, so they don't have a reason not to want to talk about it. But if they are not giving you that space, this is the decision where you need to make and be like, all right, they're not giving me the time of day. I can't force them to do that. I either need to take it upon myself to figure out a new way to handle it, or go about whatever it is that I'm doing.
And that's my point. My point is what that new way to handle it is something they don't want.
So then at that point, that's the decision you have to make, but it's still underlining decisions you have to make under it. So if it involves you talking to another man that they're not going to approve of, you're making that the choice.
You shouldn't have to talk to a man they don't approve of.
I understand that. But either way, if that's the direction that we're going in, then that's the decision that you made. However the consequences happen, that is on you because you made that decision. Now, if you go to somebody else for that advice and then they're mad at you for going to somebody else for that advice and they did not create space for you, even when you tried to, that's on them. That ain't got nothing to do with you.
Okay,
so that's the point.
That's the other side. And because I agree with the other side too, because I do believe that if somebody's keep coming to you and you like, I don't want, at some point in time, the person should be like, okay, I don't want to talk about it right now, but I'm going to give you the space and time to talk about this at this time. You feel me? Because I get hey, yo, listen, we talk about football right now. We all about this. We on the high point, and right now you want to boom, smack me down and be like, oh, so since we talking, how about all this drama shit that we was talking about? Hell no, don't talk to me about that right now. Okay, come to me later on. We could talk about this at this point in time. I think that's how it should be handled because, like I said, I done been through it. When you bring in two people together, you gotta find times. It has to be communicated how to move with each other. Like it is going to have to be communicated how you.
Or also sometimes just learning the social cues. Because a lot of the times that's really what it is. When you are hanging with your peers or you're hanging with your close friends, you navigate the space by understanding the social cues in that room. You know if it's serious because of how somebody is talking about something. You know if it's goofy based off of the jokes or the satire and the conversation. Use those same navigating features. I understand it may be a little bit more difficult because there are different emotions involved, but at the end of the day, that person is still old. Common decency of just human, naturality. Of, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day.
So here's the thing I want to say. And this, again, not gender specific. We've been using men and women, like, whatever. But the point of it is communication shouldn't just be a tool that you use to extract whatever it is you're trying to get out. I'm trying to get a listening ear. I'm trying to get you to do something. People say relationships are work, right? And I think that's, again, a synonym for what it should be actually. Relationships are effort, right? And fun takes effort. You know what I'm saying? I love working out. Certain people who love playing basketball, but it takes effort to achieve that. That it's not work, it's effort. But I'm having fun. So are you using your communication as an effort to create, a fun environment? Or is every time you talk to your partner, it's this? So now that's how they hear you. Every time she talks to me, every time this nigga comes to me, it's something. Now you don't even have that space because you don't use this line of communication for nothing else but to get something out of me, to make me have to hear through all of this nonsense. We don't talk when you're having a good time. You take that good talk and go talk to your homegirls. You go have your guy talk. When you having fun, I'm the last motherfucker you talk to. But when it's an issue, then it's me. No, I don't want to listen to you. No, I don't want to have this. No, there's no space for somebody who only comes to me like this. Right. Talk to me when we're having a good time. Talk to me when it's something funny. I want to know the joke.
Let's talk about God talk.
I hear you on the phone kiki all day. But the minute you come to me is, can we go, can we do? I need this. Can you suck me? Can you, absolutely fucking not. Right. You're done. You're cooked. You cooked your relationship because the only good time, they're an audience to your good time, but a participant to your bad times. Madness.
My question is, how does it get there? Why does a relationship get there? What structure is it that has been implemented into that relationship for it to be there? What is it that you approved of in the beginning for this cycle to happen? What is it that person portrayed in the beginning that you gave the okay to that now you're not okay with anymore? That's when, because at some point, all of it can be anything. Because if it's gotten to a point to where they're not even communicating with you, why is that? Did y'all not have successful communication? Or if they're only going to their friends about supportive conversations or good things, were you not a good listening ear or a good supporting factor when you were telling them that information? If you're only an audience for the things that you do wrong, what intentional things are you doing to make it fun? What space is being filled in there for it to be something different? Or just simply, why is that the character? Allowed? Okay, exactly. That's a thing. And why, the overall question just simply is, why is that the structure of your relationship? What did you lead with? What did she lead with?
I have another. Juanita Evans Brown. Y'all know who Juanita is. Yeah, she's in the chat. Juanita. I'm about to say, that's crazy, right? Me and my ex broke up because she didn't want or like communicating. Thought I was forcing her to talk. We might not talk in weeks. That's to the point that,
That's the extra shit.
Yeah, like.
Once the communication going, they talking to somebody else.
That's the extra shit, yeah.
So, yeah.
They talking to somebody else.
Yeah,
if we not having those types of conversations no more.
Yeah, it's
and
over.
I know that's part of your character, and you like those conversations, you having them with somebody else.
And this is another thing. Once that a lot of people, the common thing to do is people just respect, hey, she cheat, I cheat back. We Cheetos. You know, like, I
saw that.
I hate niggas.
And I'm just saying, that's what's going on. Like, a lot of people,
she free, I'm free, we free.
Like you were saying, like, what got it to that point?
You do,
what got it all the way up to that point where you accepting these things? and people just accept them. Well, you know, she did her dirt, I did my dirt. I love her though. Ain't nobody else gonna mess with her. And it goes the same thing for the women too.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
And even though y'all not even communicating, even though that you...
And that's what time we on say that.
Yeah, but even though you and him may not be communicating, that can be what type of time y'all be on. And you both know it. But you just don't want to let that person go.
I think
then we could talk about being on that type of time.
I think that's
if that's what it is.
You might not realize you might have given your partner PTSD when it comes to communicating with you. You might not realize how you're coming to your partner, and I'm speaking from experience. I had a partner, and I'm an overthinker. I'm a Cancer. I'm emotional. Something might have happened the day. And I'm thinking about it all day long. I think about it all night long. And my way of communicating with him was, we gotta take this drive to work together every morning. We stuck in this car every morning. You ain't got no choice but to talk to me. Every morning I'm on some what happened the other day. Not even, I look back on it now and realize the mistake I made. But in the moment, I'm thinking I'm doing what's right for this relationship. I'm thinking I'm communicating and we're going to talk about this and we're going to fix it. That's what I'm thinking I'm doing. But in reality, every morning this person wakes up and they're dreading getting in that car. I've given this man, he's scared. So the morning that I wake up and I'm like, you know what? And and all I wanted to say was, I was thinking about going to Starbucks this morning, babe, or you know what I'm saying? But he's so used to me with the bull because I done gave this man PTSD. So you have to think about how you're coming. You might not realize you're coming at this man wrong. Or maybe not wrong, but you're not coming at him in a way that he can... Exactly.
In a way, culture where the only way we communicate is when there's an issue. Yeah. And then I have a captive audience. I put you in a car. And now that we're going down the road, you're going to jump out. Yeah. So now I got to have the audience. So now this person views conversations as negotiate, you know what I'm saying, hostage situation. I'm in here like, oh my God, how do I get out of here?
Yeah. And my question to you is, why do you really feel comfortable to have those conversations in the
Right. Because that's also a trauma response.
Come on now.
If y'all hold on. Let's do it
into my past relationship. But my past relationship was very toxic.
So you had PTSD.
Yeah, I had PTSD.
And you ended up giving him PTSD off of your PTSD.
Exactly. Yes.
So what happened there was a issue that was created by him wasn't even discussed or situated at that point. Because now it led you
to use
to
a
have your
PTSD the only time
and use the time. So now you're methodic. Because of your trauma.
I'm not making excuses for.
No. I'm saying what I'm saying is, because I'm not talking to you. I'm speaking in general for real. Because this is a thing in people communication, and then acknowledging the fact that you just said you gave somebody PTSD. That happens for real. That's a real thing. Yes. Yet, if it didn't start that way, then something happened with you for you to even be giving him PTSD. So basically what I'm saying is we got to go back to the source of the miscommunication and where it started, and actually both parties taking accountability of that. And that whole concept of how that started.
It came from,
and it could
like,
be a trauma from, it don't even necessarily have to be y'all's communication. It could have been once y'all got from the friend level and the honeymoon phase and everything got real, then the relationship issues from the last relationship, now we committed and all this, and oh shit, I'm scared because of what happened in the last relationship, or seeing your parents go through different things. We gotta get down to the bottom line if we really care about each other and fix the issue. That's just period.
And it's the issues that we're trying to fix. We're not qualified. We're not qualified to even like give a short essay about it for real. The issues that we really facing as black men and women relationships. It's new. I understand that what we doing, we talking it out, we doing good things right now, setting a platform. Yet it runs deeper than the aptitude that we possess right now as individuals. The best that we can do right now is pull our thoughts, come together, have think tanks, explore these different ideas and these different things that we go through and talk it out. Yet as far as on a level where it takes to really break someone down to like the traumas that we speaking on is to really dig deep and get it and to really analyze it to the level. The things that we're scratching, we're barely scratching the surface.
You qualify to the level of your experience, by the way.
Not even.
I get that. I mean,
Not even because if you didn't learn from your experience, then you spewing bullshit.
But if you learn from it, like if you learn from your experience, then you qualify with what you learned to the degree.
No, because if okay, let's just say like if all I learned from my last relationship,
person to person,
because of my ability to comprehend. Because that's a background thing. If all I learned was bitches ain't shit, and then like she was saying, I might be going to a peer group that came to the same consensus, and then I get a false sense of security because all my niggas say bitches ain't shit, and all my niggas have kind of gone through the same stuff I've gone through. So, yeah, I mean, so you know what I'm saying? If that's you know what I'm saying, I could get a false positive. I get a false reading on the situation. Because there is no, like she was saying, there's no level of man that you know what I'm saying, some elders or whatever who can look back and go, all right, son, check it out.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying and I know where you're at. That ain't it. And I can tell you from this level, because first of all, in our culture, we don't venerate the elder. They just old and they in the way and they need to hurry up and down so I can get their job. Like that type of shit.
Yeah.
So we really don't even venerate old. We don't even listen to them because they're not attractive enough to embody what the outcomes that we want.
That's a problem with our generation because they didn't used to do that because we used to have OGs come back and like come to the schools and talk and they used to do that when we was younger.
Yeah.
We don't go to the
So because the first thing we're gonna say is if you knew so much, why didn't it work out for you?
Why did
and I was about to say, then the elders we do have, some of them, most of them, may not even have been married, may not have had or have their own traumas of themselves or operating in their own traumas. And it made a calm way of doing so, or just I think that sometimes we don't take into consideration that our people have those traumas as well.
Yeah. I also don't think we take into consideration a lot of the stuff that y'all.
I'm sorry.
I heard it too.
A lot of.
Yeah. Continue. That don't mean stop. That don't mean stop. Keep going. Keep going.
I'm waiting for silence. A lot of the things that a lot of y'all condoned back in the day were not okay. And it's a lot of generational trauma and baggage and chains that I feel like the upcoming generations are trying to change, because something he said earlier when I was trying to talk, when we were talking about like the kids and like their new thing with trying to understand mental health better, because as a community of Black people, we do not take it seriously at all. He said, you just ain't have enough belt to ass. Another form of abuse to just continue to further the rehabilitation of Black people in general. I agree. I mean, in some instances, but most of the time, these situations, it's white kids that did not get enough belt to ass, and their reactions. Right, but those to me are the extremes of where that is necessary. But with a lot of the people nowadays, it comes down to depression and anxiety and all of this stuff, y'all aren't factoring in the fact that social media is a thing. Extra media is a thing. We're being swarmed with a lot more information and trouble and instances that y'all did not even have to experience at the speed that we had to, as a surface level thing.
I'll say this. Because y'all not getting raised with dirt. Y'all needed to get raised with dirt.
Which is fine, but things change. So shit changed. Mothers had to go to work, and they had to give their kids an iPad so somebody could take care of them. People are in the streets kidnapping their kids. You can't just leave them outside like we used to. That's not a thing that we can do as much anymore. That's fine.
So check this out.
But now we're not allowing that to happen.
One thing, I mean, kidnappings are kind of static across time. That's
right. Cool.
But two things is, you're never, ever going to psychoanalyze your way through a lack of communal bond. It's never going to happen. Mm-hmm. There's like that. We understand that when we talk about oppression, right? There's no amount of personal responsibility that's going to take
that's going to account for structural inequality.
Right, which is
so
fine.
we have a communal problem. There is no amount of psychoanalysis that's going to fix the problem that we don't have a community. So you can go to every therapist in the world. You don't have a community.
But that does not mean that the problem is not there.
And therapists go to therapy. They all human.
So the problem. So we are social creatures who have taken on an ideology that defies our physics. Individualism defies the physics of a social creature.
Okay, so
wait. So now you're having a psychological episode because you're disobeying your physiological understanding of yourself. So you don't have
Why
a psychological
is the disobeying happening because it's being normalized in the society.
Oh, sure.
It's not a natural disobeying. Like I'm just saying, oh, fuck outside. No, it's not. You go outside and ride a bike, people think you're a fucking weirdo. That's the cultural structure that they deliberately curated.
Right.
But the thing, but what I'm saying is, all of this stuff is a deliberate society and culture that was made through the media, through social media. So when y'all are thinking that I'm just saying that sitting on our phone, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the same systematic programming and processing that is happening that is directly correlating to these kids not receiving enough vitamin D because they're not going outside. These kids not having dopamine rushes because TikTok deliberately made the algorithm only take 5 to 7 minute videos. This is what I'm talking about. Not us just sitting on our phones, but if we're going to get to the real side of it all, these mothers are busy. They have to work 2 to 3 jobs to take care of their kids. So hell fuck yeah, I'm gonna give them an iPad. Cause at least they're not running and getting into some shit. And then I'll have to worry about CPS cause some white bitch down the street got a complaint about how I'm raising my black ass child.
You gotta go backwards a couple more steps before that. Like I'm gonna I'm saying because I'm a immigrant too. Because like it's us who dictates that structure. Like if we have
which
kids,
I agree.
If we have kids, we have to dictate the structure to either have enough help or with the community. We don't have a community. We don't have it like that anymore, and we've chosen to do that because sometimes our lifestyles permits us to do things risque enough that pop out kids. Because I got 4 of them, so I understand. Because that's what I said. I know I'm a hypocrite on my stuff, but I'll be real with it. Because that's why I couldn't make it earlier. Because like if we gonna be out here fucking, we gonna have to be out here understanding that we gotta take care of these kids when we out here.
But can we be honest when we're having these conversations and realizing that these people, the people that we're in the room with, are not like the common people that we deal with on a daily basis.
Sure.
So
well, maybe we are. We're arrogant in assuming that.
I mean, which is fine, but I feel that society has also proven itself for at least let me say this. We're not the popular conversation. How about that? If that's easier to have. So
but Wall got something to say. Wall got something.
When it comes to like you were saying, like big bit, you broke you broke it down. You put the straw on that one. Like it's a systematic approach. And they go down to like when you said seeing therapists, going to get therapy to get yourself straight first. You gotta straighten yourself out.
Always.
First you get yourself straight, then you get your house straight.
Then you can get thank
straight.
you.
That's how we.
Sometimes there's a form of individuality that has to happen.
It has to, yes. It's the first law of life. You know, self-sufficiency, being self-sufficient. You know what I'm saying?
There's nothing problem.
And it's not. But so when it comes to community though, we like building our communities. We do have like community regardless like how we look at it, and we build and destroy it every day. And like our brothers and sisters, it's a social thing that it's a psyche change that gotta happen. That's gonna be able to really battle just this systematic approach to fucking. We colonialize, you feel me?
Decolonize. I was literally just saying that word.
Yeah, and that's the issue, and that's the same issue that
We have to
not only the
decolonize
kids,
our
not just the
mind
kids,
and our
our
culture.
minds. It's because it boils over to our relationships with each other and how we communicate to each other as males and females. All that it stems from that issue, and that's the issue that we're against. It's not me against you. It's us against the issue, and that's the issue. You feel me? And we fighting for the relationship, and the relationship has been affected. We were born into this fiery pit. You feel me? And then try to fall in love in it. And now we trying to goddamn figure out why the hell we
burning at the same time.
Burning, and now you understand that I'm hot, nigga. I'm hot too.
All right, so right now I'm gonna do this, man, and y'all gonna hate me. We gotta get out of here, y'all. This is dope, man.
Hey, I just started talking.
Yeah, I know. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, it was very informative.
Yeah, man, we had a lot of fun, yo. Yeah. So I want to go ahead.
Yo, I'm gonna get y'all.
Now, all this not personal.
You know, ICport Savannah.
Oh no, of course. It never is. I want.
Y'all make sure y'all tap in ICport Savannah. Follow, like, share.
4 agreements.
On everything.
Don't make assumptions. Don't take anything personally. Always do your best. Be impeccable with your word.
Don't take shit personally.
Please don't
Be impeccable with your word.
And some of these
impeccable with your word is one of the 4 agreements.
Impeccable with your communication.
Yeah,
Yo, I'm your boy Jock English. Yo, we had a dope show, man. We're gonna get out of here. We'll be out here forever. Boy, it's midnight. We out like Scout, man. Y'all take it easy.
Good night.
Holy shit, it's midnight?
Yes.
We did that?
Yes. We did that.
That's time to go to sleep.
You know my girl coming in.